Welcome, everybody, to the Salty Nerd Podcast live stream on Tuesdays. We are coming from you. I am coming to you from the Salty Nerd Podcast studio, slightly downgraded. We, of course, have had a eventful week. We will be discussing that and so much more on today's show. We've got a lot of great topics and a really cool guest. So let me introduce my panel to you. We've got the Salty Nerd Podcast panel. Matt Vader, 74, is here in his thug outfit. What's up?
Hey, man. Anybody want to buy a couple cameras? I got some cameras and I got a computer. I got some mic stands and a really crappy laptop. All really cheap. Let me know.
Rude.
DMs are open. Okay. Thanks.
Also,
so it was an
joining us.
inside job.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah. Matt Vader's just trying to haggle some prices on Craigslist or something. Matthew Kadish is also here, slightly deflated from this week. Welcome, sir.
Oh, man. Well, Alex and I spent all morning at the police station giving some statements, handing over some new evidence. And it's been a heck of a week, but man, the support that we've gotten from the community in terms of like our GoFundMe and all that stuff, it's been incredible. And in fact, our guest on here has been really sweet, giving us shout outs on social media and stuff like that. So really appreciate the support, everyone. And we're going to give an update on the GoFundMe and all that good stuff as we get the show going.
For sure. And the Red Witch herself, Jude, is also here. Welcome, Jude.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And our guest of honor, Paulie, the Latino Slant. Welcome, sir. I think he left. Did he leave?
No, I'm here.
Just
I'm
wanted to
so
make an
cool.
entrance.
I'm late.
Yeah.
Fashionably late. Welcome, sir. And again, Kadish already said it, but thank you for all the support that you've been helping us out this last week. I have to say, I never expected near this amount of support from our community online. Not that I didn't think it could happen. I've seen it happen to other people. I was just like, sometimes things happen and nothing's going to come of it. We can maybe get a little bit of money from people, but the community around us has really come together. We've gotten just unbelievable support from across the internet, helping us get back on our feet and stuff like that. So we definitely will be updating you guys on the progress that we've made as far as the case goes with who came in here and who took our stuff. And we have made some improvements so that will not happen again. So we'll have a good time.
Do you guys want to talk about what happened Sunday morning when we discovered the break-in and kind of
we can
through our experience?
Kadish, you were the first one to walk in, so go take it away. Let's let people know.
Sunday, Las Vegas.
There you go.
Beautiful crime-riddled Las Vegas. So it was just like any other day. I pulled up, everything looked fine from the outside. And when I opened the front door to the studio, which you can see behind Alex's shoulder there, I noticed that the door leading into the hallway was ajar. And my first thought was that Alex was here in the studio and he had left it open to go to the bathroom, because there's an automatic lock on the door. So like if you close it, you have to unlock it to get back in. So we just kind of leave it open. But then I walked in and I saw a bunch of debris leading into the studio space, and the computer at Jude's station had been knocked over. And I instantly got this sinking feeling in my gut where I was like, oh no. And when I peeked into the studio, the whole place had been ransacked. A lot of equipment was missing. And I was like, oh my God, we've been robbed. And so my first instinct was to text Alex, Vader, and Jude and let them know. And they all thought I was joking.
Yeah, we all said, you're joking.
Yeah. I'm like,
that's not funny.
I was at church, my church just so happens to be across the street from the studio, just less than a block away. And I look at my phone, I get this text message from Kadish, we've been robbed. And I'm like, no way. Get out of here. You're being twisted. You're being weird.
I start sending pictures.
Yeah. And I was like, ugh. So I got up, I told my wife, I'm like, I got to go. And I ran straight over here. And Kadish and I were just Kadish was already on hold with the police department. And we were just trying to figure out exactly what to do and kind of.
Yes. So I called the non-emergency police line, and it took them an hour and a half to pick up.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Sounds right.
We were just sitting there waiting for the police to pick up. And in the meantime, Vader and Alex were going to our neighbors trying to see if we could get some security footage or something like that. from the previous night, and we were all just in a very weird headspace all of Saturday morning.
What was really weird for me is that you guys were kind of like stressing out, and I went into dad mode. It was funny.
You did.
It's okay. These things happen for a reason. You just gotta like relax and go with the process, and we'll be okay. We'll be okay when it's all over with.
Like I'm pacing back and forth, just steaming hot. I'm so pissed about what happened, and I'm like looking around trying to figure out what was taken and get like an idea in my head of
what was funny is like Vader's all like calm, cool, and collected. His wife's there, and he's like, "Hey guys, relax. We're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna figure it out." And then he's like, "Wait a minute. Where's my computer?" And we're like, they took your computer, and he's like, "What the fuck, man?"
They took my computer.
He's like, I had been logged in on stuff on there.
Oh man,
I went into purge mode. I was like, all right, I'm bringing weapons up.
No, hold on. Because the first thing that Jude said when she found all about this out, like she texted us, she's like,
I said, "Are you guys okay?" No, I said, "Are you guys okay?" The second thing I said was, "Is the booze okay?"
Booze okay.
Yeah, no one took.
If I can add a positive note real quick, I know you guys are in it and really really kind of bummed out. It's a real violation, right? It's
100%.
like 100% blood, sweat, and tears, guys. All right, community in the chat, community hearing this on live or replay. Latino Slant just donated $30 to GoFundMe. Here's the thing. I wanted to wait to make sure I did it live with you guys because I had said days ago, hey, we should do a GoFundMe. It got going. It was great. I see a lot of great people, Mexican Iron Man, all that stuff. Mm-hmm. I knew it was coming on, Kadish. So I was like, we're going to do it live because that's how we do it. And let's press on people with $5, $1, I don't know whatever you can donate, because those studios, man, those are beautiful. I don't know how you make Chris Gore look handsome. That was
It's all about the lighting.
It's all about the lighting. That's right. Hair and makeup too.
Yeah.
In serio, $30. It's the least the Slant can do. Thank you. We appreciate you guys. So
we're gonna do
everything.
We're gonna do a special stream, hopefully next week, just to thank everyone who has contributed, and even money aside, just the amount of people who have just like messaged us and called and texted us and been like, "I am so sorry that happened to you." It just it helped my heart a lot, because like it just felt like you said, Paulie, like it just felt like such a violation. Like you know these things happen, but when it happens to you, you're like, it's like a gut punch.
Mm-hmm.
We also, real quick, we want to thank Penny, Danny's mom, in the chat. She's old school. She sent us a check. So we appreciate that. But the most violating part of this is that we're 90% certain that the burglar who broke in farted in Vader's chair, and just to dig it in.
I want a new chair now. Can you get DNA off of farts? Is that a thing?
Maybe
fart DNA. Yeah, maybe.
I just had lunch.
As far as the support goes, like we even had people that were in the industry, like people we've interviewed before, reach out to us via Instagram. We got support from some people that we've I don't want to give away too much, but people that we've interviewed on our show who don't really have a connection to us, except for we're fans of their TV show or their movie that they made. And they reached out to us and they helped us out as well. So it's just been incredible.
And shout out to Tom Connors, who was the very first person to donate on the GoFundMe. Mexican Iron Man, a lot of big YouTubers, Mahler, all these guys ponied up some money to help us out.
My best friend Mahler.
Your best friend, your Buffy best friend. But what's crazy is that, so like when we first posted to Twitter that we'd been robbed, and we put up pictures of like the ransacking and the broken door in the back of the office. Like we weren't expecting to crowdfund anything. Like we were just kind of like, hey, this is what happened to us. This is what we're dealing with today. And instantly people start saying like, put up a GoFundMe, like let us help you.
Yeah.
And because like as we were kind of processing what had happened and kind of like walking around and doing our little citizen investigation, I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh my God, like we don't have business owners insurance, like we don't have coverage for the equipment that was stolen. We didn't have any security cameras to like catch the culprit.
We're not even officially open yet. Like we're still in the building phase.
Hey, but you know what? We have all of that stuff now.
Yeah.
No, this was a hard learned lesson. But that morning, like as we're waiting for the police to show up, I'm sitting there and I'm going through all this stuff in my head, and I'm like, man, like we invested all this money to get this thing going, and now we're going to be set back at least a couple months as we try to like raise the money to like get this stuff back. And everyone in the community just instantly said like, hey, let us help you. And so Alex opened up the GoFundMe. And instantly, like money just started pouring in. People started sharing it around, and we can't tell you how much that lifted our spirits, because we were really down in the dumps on Sunday. Like we were seriously depressed.
Yeah, I went from
angry.
Oh my God, people suck to oh my God, only some people suck.
Speaking of people not sucking, I got a couple of super chats I want to read here. We got Whiskey Jack for 2. Oh, I got it, Kadish. We got it. All right, here we go. Whiskey Jack for £2. Sodium Soldiers represent. Thank you, sir. SJWs.
And we have Salty Justice Warriors.
Salty Justice Warriors. Yeah, I guess that's what we're gonna call it. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody say it's not a good idea, so that's what we're gonna go for. Thank you, Whiskey. You've been great. You've also been in our DMs on Discord and stuff like that, showing our support and whatnot. So I appreciate that, sir. We've got a new member, Das Wolfen.
Das Wolfen.
Thank you so much for becoming a new member. Welcome to the club. I hope you enjoy some of our extra content that we put out there.
He has a terrible beard. I don't know if we can keep him around, but we'll see.
Beard game, weak beard game.
He is a weak beard game.
And $5 from the Astro Nerd Boy, one of our biggest supporters here at the channel. Thank you so much, sir. You guys made fun of Mage. Now Mage got her revenge. So that's an inside joke for our club members and our YouTube memberships. We put out a video 2 weeks ago now, where we had a conversation about something that happened at Subway, and we made like a little bit of a skit out of it, and we just had way too much fun making fun of the people that worked at Subway. And now they've gotten their revenge.
But Astro also donated to the GoFundMe, so thank you for that. But just to piss Vader off, I want to do something. We acknowledge Danny the Dork Knight. He just found out that he's going to have to move. So sorry to hear that, Danny.
I don't give a shit. I don't care.
We move on.
Move on. I hope he has to move. I hope he has to move to Nebraska or something. That'd be great.
Matt,
fine.
Vader, what pisses you off more, the fact that Kadish brought it up, or that
Danny was here in the first place?
That Danny's in the chat?
Well, Danny's like a fungus. He gets you can't get rid of him. He like gets in under like in the moist areas under things, and it doesn't have much powder or whatever you put in.
You know what?
The guy.
I gotta say, his landlords know how to get rid of him. Stabbed you right in the chest, Danny. I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. My bad, dude. I feel bad for you. I hate movies.
If we're not talking about his nutsack, we're talking about his getting kicked out of the house now. It's always poor Danny. Always. Can it just be poor salty nerds? We got robbed this week. Can you give us 1 week? 1 week. That's all we need.
We're gonna put a cot over here for Danny to sleep in.
Jesus Christ.
It's gonna be right underneath your desk.
This is a good note. This is a good note to you, Dork Knight, because even I, who came on the show and represent the pain of my people, I did not bring it up. It's about the pain of salty nerd. Okay, come on.
Move to
Iceland. The room, dork.
I know.
Danny gets the joke. I hope he.
Paulie was kind enough to, backpedal the entire trials and tribulations of a whole race of people. But Danny's getting evicted. Yes,
correct. Because I represent them all.
So getting back to Sunday. So basically, as we were waiting for the police to show up, Alex, like when the police do show up, Alex takes him to the back door, which had been broken into. And we discover that that the burglar had a really hard time getting into the building, which was kind of funny. Can
we put pictures up during the stream?
We'll do that next week.
Okay.
I don't know. It's still an open investigation.
Yeah,
I don't
probably
know
don't
I
how
mean,
to do
they're
it.
all over
Yeah.
Instagram.
Yeah,
This is
they're out
yeah,
there.
that's fair.
Yeah, let me
really?
see if I can find him. But Alex, why don't you tell everyone what this guy had to do in order to? Like,
Oh my
get
God.
inside the building?
So okay, so the back door to this place is a metal framed glass like office door, and the original idea, I suppose, that he had was, I'm just gonna throw a crowbar into the lock and pop the lock out, but that didn't work. because
first he
it's-
tried to pry the door open.
Yeah,
right?
that's what I'm getting to. So I don't know which one was first. We don't really know which one. Did he pry it open or did he hit the lock? He hit the lock. He pried it open. One of the two.
Chicken
this
or the
dude-
egg?
So, yeah, this dude literally had to like rip open the metal casing around the door, and I'm like that. Having worked with metal before, I'm looking at this going, I'm like, that had to have taken at least 10, 15 minutes for him to pry that open, because it was literally like chiseling away at the metal. And eventually, suppose he got tired of doing that, and he just, yeah. So you can see the lock is missing. He couldn't get the hook undone, and then so he just decided to rip the metal open in the background.
That's wild.
That still didn't work because there's a third safety measure on that door. So eventually, he just was like, screw it, and he threw a rock through the glass. Which
Yeah,
after talking to the guy who repaired the door, we were like, so how difficult is it to break that glass? He's like, he had to work at that pretty hard. It's like triple paned, like protective glass and all that stuff. So it's
you
not
can
an
see
easy
like
thing to do.
there's all this shattered glass that went all the way down the hallway, all the way down to our offices. But in order to break through this glass, like he really had to like hit it hard, and eventually he just ended up throwing rocks through it in order to get in. And we think one of the reasons that he didn't take as much as he could have is because he spent so much damn time trying to get in the building.
Yeah, it
begin
could have
with.
been so much worse. It was
Yeah.
pretty bad, but it could have been much worse. He probably planned to clean us entirely out.
Most likely. I mean, if he would have had I'm not gonna give anybody ideas on how to actually rip this place off. So, but
Yeah.
it's just you can see they unceremoniously just like shoved the table out of the way, took a bunch of our stuff. They left some of the more expensive things in the room, which is interesting. But they took 3 of our nice Sony cameras, the 4K digital cameras that we have for recording. They took our Rodecaster. Let us see what else.
They
Oh,
took our mobile monitors.
Yeah, our computer screens, 2 microphones, 2 microphone arms, and they broke my headphones. Luckily, I was able to fix them, but they threw my headphones on the ground, like stepped on them or something. So,
Yeah, and
You
go ahead.
you can't see it in this shot, but over here is where we had 2 of our cameras mounted, and he actually took the time to unscrew those and pop those off. But he just stole our wide shot camera with the tripod.
Fat cam, it's gone.
Fat cam, yeah.
We
yeah, the
hate
fat
that one
cam's
anyway.
gone. Yeah,
And originally we were like, okay, well, we'll still be able to do our live stream from the studio because we have our
Mhm.
mobile setup. And then that's when we realized he stole our mobile setup too.
yeah. So we
Yeah,
have this
and-
we have this little go-kart of if we want to take something mobile, like to the theater, we're doing a Q&A or something like that.
Yeah,
Convention.
it's literally a luggage thing on wheels. And basically, like, you know, just like if you're going to the airport and you got your luggage with you, it's just like that. So it's super easy to carry around. And we didn't notice it was gone until like Sunday night. We're like, oh, that motherfucker stole our mobile setup.
Oh,
And it was-
there's so much.
it-
Like as the days reeled by and we kind of get everything settled, we come back into the studio and I'm like, okay, I got to get back to work. I've got some editing things I got to do. We still have a channel to run, and we still have things that we want to continue doing. And I sit down at my desk and I'm going, my laptop is gone as well. I didn't notice that because I only use it on Tuesdays for the live stream.
and your
or
sound
when-
bar.
And my Bluetooth little sound bar that I have for the computer as well was gone. And I didn't like, there's such small items, and the laptop is like nothing special. It's just a Dell Latitude, whatever. It was like a nothing computer that I got from a refurbished place. But
And
I'm like,
Cage's fancy keyboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
what's funny is like I sat down at my station right behind Alex there on Sunday because I was trying to look up the police, like our local police station, and I go to type into the address, and literally my keyboard's missing. I'm sitting there,
Literally-
like, what the hell?
he grabs his mouse and then he looks and he puts his hands where his keyboard should be. And it was just like, he's like, hey, my keyboard's missing. Like of all the things.
So I get, because I type a lot, I get these fancy ergonomic Bluetooth keyboards that
So
I
we're
love.
looking for someone with arthritis.
Exactly. But so like I had one of these for my office station, and whoever ripped this off knew that this was the best keyboard in the whole studio. And he was just like, yoink, he just took it.
Vader's got a dope keyboard. It's got like different color keys. I have one that has like LED lights on it, and Kadish's like grandpa keyboard. He takes that one instead.
Hey, if you guys are gonna have carpal tunnel in about a couple months, all right?
Mike has bad knees. New member, welcome, sir. Thank you very much for that.
Right on. Thanks, V. $9.99 from Fletcher Williams. I suck at games channel. I also suck at video games. I hope I can join the club. I don't do GoFundMe, but hope this helps. Thank you, sir. Thank you for the $10.99. Absolutely. I will pass that along to the business account. Kadish, keep a tally of that.
I will, but I just want to really impress upon people like how like the first thing Alex said after he arrived and saw the devastation was, "We got to move." he's like, "We're moving."
Well, my thought
we're
is
in a
like
year-long lease. We can't just move.
My thought is like, well, now they know we're here, and like, I feel super vulnerable because if this person doesn't end up getting caught, hopefully they do, but if they don't end up getting caught, or even if they just tell their friends, like, oh, hey, I ripped this place off, here's the address, like, it's a high likelihood that somebody could hit us again if we can't like up and just like go to a different place. Obviously we can't. We're in a lease. We have to stay here. So we have to do the best we can at securing this place as much as possible. And that's what we've been working on for the last 4 days or so, is just beefing up every possible entry that somebody could access. So it's a hard lesson learned, but we're doing our best to protect ourselves moving forward for sure.
Yeah, this place is going to be locked down tighter than Fort Knox. But I just want to shout out my beautiful and wonderful fiance, because Sunday night when I got home, she had made me comfort food in the form of meatloaf, just to cheer me up. And she was like, I didn't know what I could do, but I did know I could feed you. And so I was like, oh, thank you.
I had a lot of sex this week. That was my comfort. I was like, thanks, babe. You always know how to make me happy.
Like, wait, what? What have you been seeing?
That was not with me. I didn't do that. I handle Kadish.
I hate doing this sober. I need
right?
This comment, sex and meatloaf just make everything better.
I smell sex and meatloaf. Yeah.
John Kakaza is in the chat. Welcome, man. Thanks for being here. He also helps support us a lot. Yes. Hail the Salty Nerd. Hail the fellowship, coming together and support each other.
Everybody's been amazing.
Yeah, it's been incredible.
Yeah, and we didn't want to just keep the GoFundMe going, even though we appreciate Paulie, donating and stuff like that, because we don't want this to come off like we're trying to like raise more money than is necessary to just recover what we lost. We don't want to be milking this. It's just something that we want to replace.
Yeah, we all had a conversation. Where's the sex and meatloaf?
Mom, I want the sex and meatloaf.
What is she doing up there? I never know what she's doing up there.
That sounds like a bumper sticker. That'd be great.
Sex and meatloaf. That's going to be the new. That's going to be the new tag for this live stream. Sex and meatloaf.
I want it on a hoodie. I want my hoodie.
Sex and meatloaf. Sounds like a band name. Anyway, what was I going to say? We had a conversation. We're like, look, we're not trying to this community is so incredible. We don't want to be seen as milking them for more money than we need. We have a number in our head as to what would help us get back on our feet, and that's what we're going to stick to. And I'm hoping that somehow we can repay this amazing community. I know we're going to be making our content again soon. Hopefully that entertains people. I'm always honored that people let me entertain them. But the other thing too is if there's somebody out there in need, another content creator comes upon bad times, I'm right there. I'm ready to help out this community.
And also to people like Paulie, anyone who donated to the GoFundMe, we want to open up the studio for you guys to use for free. We want to pay that back. So,
See, this is where the cultural thing changes, right? Because I would, first of all, I would never let all those people during Vegas do it for free. And then right now, no, we made this nice and everything. Got to keep paying me, mijo. That's nice. Thanks for giving, but no, we're charging. Okay. It's very nice of you, but hey, you got to make some money. Come on.
Listen, the return we got from having all those guys in the store was amazing. We got thousands of new subs. We got tons of new follows. It was great. It was fun having everybody.
I just hear my mom in my head. You did it free? What, mijo? You gave it for free?
Well, you know, like the generosity, like people didn't have to give us money, right? And the fact that they did, we want to pay that back, you know. So like anyone who donated, they're free to come in anytime they want, use the studio.
Yeah, it's a beautiful studio.
One time.
Except on Tuesdays. One time,
yeah.
Not on Tuesdays.
She gets it. I mean, and that, because listen, I'm sure you're paying
for life thing. It's a one-time
paying rent,
thing.
you're paying insurance, equipment, wear and tear.
Yep.
If anything, you know, maybe for your other podcaster friends, you know, a little discount, but nah, you know, just pay. Come on,
Paulie's a businessman.
A businessman. You know, it's funny.
To me, it's the same thing as Hollywood. I mean, why am I going to lower my expectations when I'm paying full price on a ticket? If I'm going to lower my expectations, give me a discount ticket every motherfucking time. That's all I got to say. You know, because that doesn't make sense.
When we were on Midnight's Edge, you know, like so like the week of Nerdrotics meetup, we didn't charge anyone. We were like, hey, come in and use the studio. We were looking at it as kind of like a trial run to see like, okay, what can we improve? Like what are we going to do differently? And the
like
irony of all,
but for nerds.
Yeah, but the irony of all this is that, you know, and I told Tom when he had me on his show that if like the stuff that was stolen was very specific to like, if you wanted to make your own video podcast, this is the stuff you would steal. And so I was like, you know, if the guy had just asked nice, we probably would just let him use it for free.
Like, hey, man, I always wanted to start my own YouTube channel. Like, well, you're in the right place, buddy. And,
yeah, his YouTube channel is all about like how to rob people.
Like
real quick, I want to.
Yes. No, good timing. I'll make a joke after this. Go ahead.
Mexican Iron Man is in the chat. $9.99. Thank you, sir. Shout out to all my friends. Love you all. Love you, buddy. Thank you so much for your generosity. You guys have been incredible.
Yay, Mikey.
All right, Paulie, go ahead and make your joke. Go for it.
No, you know, Mikey, myself, anyone resembling us, we have nothing to do with the break-in. I just want to say that.
Oh, okay.
We need bad jokes. Good sense of humor here. Come on.
Yeah, right? Absolutely. I mean, I set the tone with the joke about Danny.
You want to know our prime suspect, Paulie, is James Mangold. We think he was behind this.
First, he murdered Corky, and then he came for our studio.
Corky was Epsteined, basically. Like it was an inside job.
That was personal.
Our shout out to Nick. I just want to give him a proper shout out. Backyard TARDIS. Go check out his Adventures in Locksmithing YouTube channel. He's been my contact on how to secure this place because he is a professional locksmith and he deals with robberies all the time. But I contacted him. I sent him pictures. He was literally analyzing the photo of the broken door, saying, "Oh, I see he did this, and because he couldn't get in because of this piece of material." I was like, "Oh, this is fascinating." And he's like, "So go buy this." He gave me a specific serial number for some new equipment that I had to go down and grab, and then we had somebody come and install it. So thank you, Nick, for your support and for your expertise. I do appreciate that so much.
I think it's so crazy that the burglar left his break-in tool in the office. Like, okay, I'm going to trade you guys this one break-in tool for all this shit.
He was obviously, he forgot it was there. It was like this piece of crap pry bar with a little bit of duct tape on the handle or something like that. He left it in the back of the studio behind a desk over there. He must have put it down to pull some wires out and forgot it was there.
You know what's been so funny about this whole thing is that you know, we've had people who we know personally, they contact us. Like Alex has had friends. I've had friends and they're like, dude, where do you want to meet up? We'll bring the weapons. We'll hunt this guy down. Teach him not to. It's like that. It's like that scene in The Town with Ben Affleck and Jeremy Renner where he's like, you know, Don't ask me when or where. Just grab a baseball bat. We're gonna go take care of some business.
I know whose car are we taking.
Nerds.
Whose car are we taking? Yeah, I literally got a text message of John Travolta and Samuel L. Jackson in the black suits from Pulp Fiction from a friend of mine, and they were like, "Just let me know, bro."
Chris, you guys can't talk about this kind of stuff. It's gonna.
I know. Probably. Yeah.
Say what one more goddamn time.
I dare you. I double dog dare you.
That is a tasty burger.
I will say that I do know a lot of bikers from back where I used to live. So, I know a few people myself. I could,
There you go.
do some
We
things.
all like to talk a big game.
Yeah, you guys and your street cred, amazing.
I have huge street cred.
It's amazing. But whenever nerds or anyone talk, I got a cousin, man. Shut up.
Shut up.
Get a guy
Shut up.
who
It just happens. You don't say shit. It just happens.
It's a big desert, motherfucker. All right.
Oh shit! This desert grave's already full, you guys.
I remember one time I was out hiking in the middle of freaking nowhere, like off Blue Diamond out there by Red Rock. And I'm a ways out into the freaking on these trails on a dirt bike with my buddy. And like coming out of the desert back towards town is this like kind of low riding Mercedes Benz with blacked out windows. I was like, oh, okay, we're going to go the other way.
Yeah.
So yeah, that stuff does happen in this town for sure. I mean, how many bodies did they take out of Lake Mead this year? Oh my god!
A lot.
Oof.
It was like every other week we got a newscast. Oh, another barrel found in Lake Mead.
Skeleton stuck in the mud.
Well,
It's
we're
wild.
so short on water, we're starting to find the bodies.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But anyway, yeah, Revenge of the Salty Nerds. There you go. That's a good live stream title. Kate,
It's a good one.
Write that one down.
If they ever catch the guy, that'll be the stream name.
Yeah. Speaking of continuing the updates, I've been posting updates on Instagram regularly. So if you want to keep up with the case and what we're dealing with, you can head over to Instagram and follow us there at Salty Nerd Podcast. But today, Kadish and I went down with all the information that we could gather. We were fortunate enough to get some camera footage from our neighboring office buildings and a couple other things that we kind of pieced together. I don't know how much we can say because, again, it is an open investigation, but we have some pretty hefty evidence that we think we know who it was, and we gave that over to the police this morning. We went down to the police precinct and spoke to a very nice detective. They let us right in. They sat us down. They took time personally to sit one-on-one with us and led us to kind of like Kadish literally had a clear binder folder, organized, itemized thing.
Report.
He made a book report for the police detective, and the police detective looked at him and he goes, this is so much more than I usually have to go on when it comes to these cases.
No, seriously, it had like all of our pictures. It had like video files linked to it.
Yeah.
It had like a full detailed statement about the day. It was everything that a police officer could want in order to get started on the case. It's just my producer background.
He's like, listen, I've written crime books before. I know what you need.
Yes.
Yeah. It's no different than the emails I send these guys every day.
It really,
what we're going to be doing.
Here's the itinerary for the live stream today. But I had a friend of mine who's a Henderson police detective, and I called him last night, and he talked to me for about 30 minutes, just giving me the lowdown, like, okay, this is what you're going to do when you walk into the precinct. This is what they're going to want to have. This is the information that they need, and make sure that, you talk to this person, and this person until you get eventually to a detective. Fortunately, we didn't have to jump through that many hoops to get to him, but
it was funny because we were pretty down on the police after they came and took our statements initially, because the patrolmans came up and we were like, hey, there's all these fingerprints on the table over here. And they're like, how much did the guy steal? And we're like, about $5,000-$6,000 worth of stuff. Ended up finding out it was closer to $9,000.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, yeah, we're not going to send anyone out for that. And it's like, if it's not more than $50,000, we don't even get out of bed. And Vader's experience with Las Vegas Metro also kind of soured us on this thing. And it was funny because we tried to go to the police station yesterday, and when I got there, it was just after 5 o'clock, and they close at 5.
They were like, sorry, no crime after 5.
Yeah, no crime after 5. And it was funny because I got there, I tried to enter, the doors were locked, and so I was going back to my car, and this other woman came walking up. She had just parked, and she's like, "Are they not open?" I'm like, "No, they just closed." And she's like, "But it's 5:00." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know." And she says, she's like, "I'm from Iraq, and there the police station never closes." And I'm like, "Well, welcome to Las Vegas." So like Alex and I woke up very early this morning. We got there specifically to get there just as the police station opened because like we didn't want to like waste any time. And so we got there, it opened at 8 a.m. And lucky enough, like they hadn't even assigned a detective to our case yet.
Of course
we
not.
had to be like, hey, like they told us that it's like usually like they don't get assigned for 5 to 7 days after the report's filed.
Yeah.
And we were like, we have information right now. And so
Go
like
get him.
eventually a detective came out. He had read my little book report and he was impressed. And so he was like, okay, let's go see these guys. And so he sat
Kadish
down
was
with
like,
us.
I actually already went and got him. I did a citizen's arrest. He's in the back of my car.
I did most of the work for you.
Yeah.
No, but it's been great. Even the YouTube community, but even our community here at this complex that we work with, everybody's been really free with their time. These are all business owners. You guys are all busy. They all came to our studio, showed us what footage they might have had. Oh, here's something I found on my camera. So like even the people in our complex have been super helpful as well.
Yeah.
I was going to ask about cameras. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have any inside your spot?
We do now.
There is no corner uncovered by our surveillance system now.
Don't you all watch See No Evil? What's wrong with you guys?
I know. Yeah. We have, it's a legitimate thing. Like people are like, how come you guys didn't have cameras? You're like, you know what? You're absolutely, I can't say you're wrong.
We
They're
did. They
right.
stole them.
They stole the cameras too. No,
Not
like
those.
absolutely. It's an unfortunate reality.
Yeah, you know what's funny is like, we were like, okay, we're going to be getting security cameras, we're going to be getting insurance, but like we hadn't even opened yet. We hadn't even finished buying all the equipment that we needed yet. So we just wanted to kind of save some money until like we were open, making some money so that we could like get that stuff. And we never thought that we were going to be hit like this.
I love you guys. I'm just going to say it one more time. That's why you should have charged all the homies that came in. We're in Vegas. I'm just gonna say it once. I would have, if I would have went in there beforehand, I would have said, no, I'm gonna pay you guys something. No, that's just not.
Okay, Paulie, when you come to town, we're gonna charge you. Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
Paulie,
I'm already thinking in my head what I'd like to do.
Just feed Kadish after.
Yeah,
no.
I want to ask Paulie if he wants a job as our booking agent. He can be like,
I have a couple of Vegas performers that I'd like to interview, and we'll use your spot. Santana and the lead singer of Santana are doing a Vegas run, so we'll talk. Let's do something fun.
House of Blues, right?
We got a couple.
Yeah, House of Blues, Mandalay. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
That sounds awesome. I'd be blown away. I got a couple of super chats. I want to say, I don't know if this DKK20. I don't know what that is. Is it Denmark? I don't know what that is. But thank you for your generosity. Sir Talks a Lot had a very nice rant about the theft. Oh, okay, cool. Right on.
That's
very
awesome.
Good. I will have to check that out. If you guys have links to people who have talked about it, just so that we have a record of people that we can thank personally, like either through
it's
emails
Danish
or DMs.
Krone.
Danish Krone. Okay.
Danish Krone. Yeah.
Right on. Very good.
Yeah.
Also,
special shout out to No Money G real quick. He donated to the GoFundMe. And he came out to our Las Vegas meetup at the theater and stuff. So big shout out to No Money G.
Him and a guy that we met, we had him in studio. He wasn't on camera. He didn't go into the actual recording area, but he was out here hanging out with us. WG. He's been an amazing guy in our corner as well.
Yeah, he's been fantastic.
Anthony DeAndrea, $11 from Canada. Welcome, sir. Thank you so much for your generosity. Street cameras in Spain can catch Amber Heard taking a poo on the sidewalk, but Vegas hasn't got the technology to spot a burglar putting stuff in his car. Well, one of the reasons why we felt pretty secure in this location is because we are off the beaten path. We're kind of in the back of the complex. It's very quiet. It's a very nice area.
Very well lit.
Very well lit. There's street lights everywhere. There's businesses all over the place.
Yeah, it's a nice, safe neighborhood.
And we had a sticker on the front door that said we had security cameras, which we didn't have.
But we do now.
Hey, I want to
love you guys.
Really quick. I want to bust
I
it.
gotta say, go ahead, Matt.
I want to bust it really quick and thank you, WG, for 10 gifted memberships
Oh,
Oh,
to our
wow.
chat. 10
Thank you,
gifted
WG.
memberships. That is amazing. Very cool. Thank you, sir.
awesome. Thank you, WG.
So really quick, guys. every show we watch, me and Romy, as far as like the true crime and all that stuff, they always start off. We thought it would never happen here in this small town.
I mean,
That's what you got.
yeah.
Hey, you
Well,
guys learned a lot of great lessons here, though.
But Paulie, you know, I was telling people this the other day. This wasn't a situation where like some hophead broke in and took equipment to sell for drugs. Like we were specifically targeted by someone who knew what we had and wanted it.
Oh yeah.
There's how many other offices in our building? Like 10 other offices.
Yeah.
Nobody else even had a scratch on their door. They knew exactly where they were going and what they wanted.
Talking to our neighbors as well, most of them, if not all of them, are some type of medical facility, and they have hundreds of thousands of dollars of medical equipment and stuff like that, in their building. So it was definitely specifically for us. It wasn't just a smash and grab, like let's hit the office building downtown. Like no, it was like, oh, these guys have electronics, like let's go get them.
Yeah.
But we have a very good idea of who it was, how they did it, and the police detectives are working on the case as we speak. So we will definitely update you guys any further on that. Before we move on to the next subject of today's live stream, did you guys have anything else you wanted to say about the burglary that is not incriminating towards anything? Not going to get us in trouble?
I just want to say thank God the Shady Mile and the Frey Ranch are okay.
Well, it might not be after today, Jude. I'm almost done with it.
Oh, good for you. Good for you.
Also wanted to give everyone who donated a shout out. You guys were so like, it really made a difference, not just in terms of like our business, which was going to take a big hit, because the amount of money that was stolen in terms of equipment was about a third of our startup cost. So it was a lot of money. And, but not only did you guys help us out on that front, but mentally and emotionally, like the outpouring of support. Yeah. It meant a lot. It really did.
So you guys are what, like $160 away from? Oh no, wait, hold on.
I haven't checked. I don't know where we're at.
8841.
What?
Nice.
8,841
Holy
bucks.
crap!
We don't know how to turn it off.
I've tried shutting it down.
Like we're done.
Like GoFundMe's like, nope, you're gonna keep this thing going. I'm like, I gotta figure it out.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we do now have to pay for all of our security cameras.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that. Yeah,
it's
well,
gonna.
Chris Gore was
be
like,
worth
man,
it, guys.
Chris Gore was like, you got to take that to 10,000. We're like, we don't want to like, take advantage of you.
Yeah, we don't want to take advantage of anyone, but also it really is pretty close to 10,000.
Yeah,
what we are out of.
I was talking to Kadish today. I'm like, we're good, right? We could turn it off. He's like, I don't know how. It's like I searched through the whole website and I can't find a spot where it says close account.
You'd think there'd be a button to like stop fundraiser.
Like, we're good now.
Wow.
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
WG for $100, dude. You're oh my gosh, you're so generous.
He's obsessed with keeping our fridge
the fridge
stop.
Our fridge is still intact. It's fine.
Yeah.
They might have taken an energy drink. We don't know.
We even had a basket of snacks. That's fine too.
Yeah, the Doritos are fine too.
Yeah.
As well.
I definitely would have taken one of the monsters out of the fridge if I was that guy. That for sure. So, he worked hard.
He might have.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't.
I want to show everyone this. So you can see that our little snack basket was unmolested. In fact, it was moved gingerly to the side so that he could get to the more expensive equipment.
Jesus Christ. Oh, man. $5 from John Kakaza. I feel your pain. In 2012, while working in Costa Rica, I was set up by honeypot yoga instructor and the house was robbed. I lost almost 10K in gear.
Oh,
Jesus.
Wow. That's horrible.
They freaking honeypotted you with a yoga instructor? I'd fall for it too, bro. Don't feel bad.
Is there any other kind?
I
think you have to go to like yoga instructor school to become a honeypot.
Yeah.
Yo, John, John, one of the things I teach in my fitness lessons is yoga. Come on, forget that honeypot. 10 grand. Jesus.
$10 from No Money G. Cadis, you want to read this? Go ahead, man.
Yes. And they left the booze, amateurs, joking, but I hope this helps.
Thank
No
you,
Money,
sir.
thank you so much for your generosity. It means a lot to us. But to John's defense, it wasn't that he was taking yoga. It's that the hottie was a yoga instructor. And so she used her feminine wiles to rob him of 10K. Yes. Let no man who has ever been huddy potted throw the first stone.
While showing him the downward dog.
Yep.
Yep. That's gets you every time.
I mean, I'm sure Vader has plenty of stories about women he's seen at his job taking men for rides.
Oh, when I used to work security, man, like the amount of things you would see walking down the strip would just amaze most people. Like, it's a dangerous place, man. It's a dangerous place.
Would be shocked at what goes on down at the hotels. Shocked. Or maybe you wouldn't. I don't know. But most of the stuff goes unreported. There's trick rolls happen all the time, and they don't get reported because the people that are getting rolled don't want people to find out, especially like wives and girlfriends.
Also, it's bad press for the properties. They have their own internal ways of handling most things.
V, do they still take guys out back and beat the hell out of them in Vegas Strip? No? Are you sure?
Not at all.
Not working at the right casinos.
Not at all. They need to bring that back. If they did, things would
need to bring the mob back to Vegas.
When the mob ruled town, it was a better town. Dude, that's a true story. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
it was.
I was at a
hashtag make Vegas mob again.
Yeah. I was at the grocery store, and this old timer, like obviously Italian mobster dude, was talking to one of his friends or somebody, and he was like, he's like, when the mob ruled this town, man, things were so much. People had respect around here, and I'm like standing like two people back behind him, just listening, going, "Yeah, man, yeah."
Well, what's funny is that so many people, after they found out about our robbery, they were like, "Are you in Vegas?" And they're like, and we're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "You're not in Henderson?" We're like, "No." And they're like, "Oh, sorry." Like everyone's so down on Metro PD that they're like, if you had been robbed in Henderson, they'd be all over this. But because you're Metro, like they don't.
Yeah, the store my wife works at is in Henderson proper, and they got robbed. And they sell high end machines for a very specific hobby. I'm not going to get too into it, but it was like probably I think like $100,000 worth of stuff that got stolen, and Henderson PD was immediately there. They didn't have to wait an hour and a half to get on the phone. By the time they had been there and an hour and a half had gone by, they had already been there, conducted their investigation, and were out looking for people. And they caught them, and everything got taken care of. And that's the difference between Henderson PD and Metro. Metro came and they didn't give a shit. They literally wrote us a statement and said, "Hey man, if you find out anything more, just give us a call. Can't help it. It's policy." He literally told Kadish, "That's just policy. I can't do anything else." It's like, okay, well, fuck you too. And here's your paper. And see you later.
The officer was kind enough to subscribe to our podcast, though.
Oh, that's nice.
So he's probably watching right now. Yeah. He's probably watching right now, going, "That freaking Vader dude." Man.
So at the end of the report, did you guys make sure you subscribe and smash it?
Like and subscribe.
Hit that like button.
Hit that like button.
Oh, I was gonna say so. Oh, I got a real sick joke that went through my head. Anyways,
before we move on to the next topic for the live stream, I just want to remind everybody we are simulcasting to Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Kick, a couple of other places that I've never heard of before. Apparently, they live streamed there too.
Rumble.
If you guys are, I have heard of Rumble. If you guys are watching this live stream on one of those platforms, please let us know in the comments. We'd love to know that we're reaching an audience on those platforms as well. So officially beginning the live stream today, the first thing on our list today is John Leguizamo's docu-travel series. Latino Slant was interested in talking about this, so I'm going to pass it over to Paulie. Take it away, sir. What do you got for us?
Yeah, well, we were throwing around ideas, me and Kadish, and I thought it would be interesting for your audience, just a little bit what I dabble in with the channel and covering so many facets of Latino entertainment. And there's no one that gets more More views, more comments on my channel than Johnny Legs. And he has a new docu-series, it's kind of like a faux travel series. It's a 6-parter. It's on MSN. 4 have dropped. What he proposes is that he goes to 6 different cities in America, and you kind of get a slice of America, of Latin, U.S. Latino life. So the first 4 are out. The cities that he's done is New York, Miami, DC, and then Chicago just dropped. And the last 2 are going to be LA and I believe Puerto Rico. So with all that being said, I have to tell you, there are some really good moments, and then there's some really cringe.
Yeah.
And it's shot well. It looks great. The people that for the most part, the people that he gets to interview are amazing people, and they have really incredible stories. There's some obviously it's when he goes into the politics of things.
Careful, we don't get taken down, Kadish. Careful.
It's fine.
Yeah. Obviously, when he goes into the politics of things, he can take a real hard left from one segment to the other. And I don't know if that really is going to serve people that, one, don't take that hard left with their politics, and that aren't Latino, because at the end of the day, you want non-Latinos just to like, hey, what is this all about? This is great. And then 2, he's painting a brush of Latino life in the States that's all activism, and this is how we all think, as far as the political bent, and it just does a disservice, because we're so diverse, not just within countries, but within politics, the cultures. So there's some big holes in this as well. So I could keep going down the line, but that's my broad strokes.
Real quick, Paulie, I wanted to ask you. So in this article that talks about this thing, they keep using the term Latine. So it's like Latine culture, Latine representation. I always thought it was Latin. Am I wrong on this?
Latine, which is what that is.
Latine, okay.
Latine's been around. It's actually been around longer than Latinx, which is the guys jump around. So Hollywood Latinos, they have tripled down on Latinx and now Latine. That's just how it is. I'm talking about from the actors to people behind the scenes. You even see the Latino writers on strike. It's Latinx Writers Committee. It's like they're just.
If this show was just purely like an entertainment and a deep dive into the Latino community across America, I would be 100% down. My wife is Latin. I love the culture. I don't fit in. I'm like the token white dude at the parties who just like doesn't know how to eat a proper taco.
Where's
or whatever.
the mayonnaise?
It's like I'm that dude. But I love the culture, and a lot of my friends that I work with, my coworkers, literally my coworker just sent me a text message. He's in Mexico right now. Him and his girl went on vacation. He just sent me a photo of him sipping a martini on the beach. Like, I love this culture. And if this TV show was purely just like, hey, let's go and meet some of the cool people in the Latin community across America, like the trailer itself looks amazing. Like I would want to watch the show. I think it would look really cool. But I know because it's John Leguizamo that it's going to be just laced with a bunch of this like political rhetoric. And it's not representative of how diverse the community is. Most of the guys that I work with, they're like conservative, way more conservative. They do not lean left at all. They're like, I would probably say most of them would probably vote for Trump if they could. Or if they wanted to, they're like, yeah, I'd vote for Trump if he goes for the next election or whatever. Like these are conservative dudes who work in construction and mining and stuff like that. And so I don't think that John Leguizamo's politics really represent the community. And I'm assuming, do you feel the same way, Paulie?
As far as what?
As far as like the diversity of the community as far as politics go.
Well, I'm gonna take out what I personally thought, what my personal politics are, right? The truth is, a super majority of Latinos do not do not care for, and are offended by the term Latinx. Super majority. You know, they talk about, we're not a monolith, except when don't call us Latinx. It's like poll after poll after poll. You know, and the thing is that I just had a family reunion this weekend, and it's like, you know, there's people, you know, are in our family, you know, the different generations, different, you know, people are doing different things, and where they're coming from is from different places, all in with one family. That's how Latinos are, and I think he does a huge disservice to every to the viewer in not showing that. And you know, case in point, he was talking to a Cuban family, generational family, in the Miami episode, which I love. I really like that they covered so many people. This family with father, daughter, and mom, and they started a coffee business, cafe. Look great. Oh my God, all that stuff. They were talking about, you know, I will tell you this: it is a very pro, you know, hardworking immigrant life. A lot of these episodes, which I really, really, it shows people in a, you know, a lot of these people that he interviews in a fine light, in a very positive portrayal, which I really, really like. I mean, because we just don't have that. But I'm like, why didn't you sit down that family and talk about their politics? Why did you have to go to another person who's an activist? You know what kind of conversation is it going to be? Why don't you have that conversation just within one family of Cubans, how they feel about stuff? Man, I bet you they would have had a great talk.
Yeah, I'd love to hear their thoughts on communism too, coming into America, like getting injected into the American culture. How you see so many comments. Sorry, Kadish, I'll get to you in 1 second. There's so many people out there. You look on Instagram, there's reels about people who come from communist countries coming to America saying, "Are you guys nuts? You don't want that. Like, that's not what we want." And you see that in Latin communities, you see that in Russian communities and Russian families and stuff like that, where they're like, "You do not want that coming to America." So yeah, I agree. I would love to hear somebody put in a travel show, just sit down with an actual real life American family and hear their history of these countries that they come from.
I wanted to get Paulie's take on something. So here's another article that's kind of related to this. John Leguizamo says playing Italian characters in the past
we were
was
covering this, Matt.
Matt likes to do this too. He just like surprises you with stuff that you weren't planning on talking about to begin with. So yeah.
Well, it's funny because I remember the first time I ever saw John Leguizamo was in the Super Mario Brothers movie, and when I saw him, I was like, why is there a Mexican guy playing an Italian plumber? And I never bought John Leguizamo as an Italian, but he seems to be taking pride in being cast as an Italian, while also criticizing movies for not casting enough Latinos. So I want to get your take on you know, his comment about this, that it was revenge by playing Italian characters.
Well, I think that kind of maybe goes to the Oscars thing. Like, that's a good transition. But just to finish up on the travel show, I think one of the biggest holes in this travel show is that at no time, and I said this in one of my video reviews, we have to start defining ourselves as American simultaneously. We live a duality, and this duality is very special. And nowhere in the world do we live this type of duality. Not even you guys live this. You know, and it's not good. It's not better. It's not bad. I'm just saying it's different, right? And we all can share our cultures and all that shit. But this duality of like, we can be this and we can be American at the same time. It's not in the ether. What's in the ether here with this is a Latinx agenda, and it's like, dude, you keep shooting the audience in the foot. They're going to tune out. So that was just my last thing with the docuseries.
I'm looking at this show and it's got two strikes against it. Number one is John Leguizamo. I'm not a huge fan, right? I did like him in the John Wick movies, but you know, he's not in those very much. But you know, I don't dislike the guy or anything per se. I just don't like his politics. But the second thing is it's on MSNBC, from what I can tell from the articles, and I just won't watch that channel. It's not on a channel that I will watch. It's on one of these network news channels that just scream leftist agenda. And I don't watch really Fox News either, because it's the opposite. It's the same kind of stuff. I like shows like, when I look at this thing, it kind of reminded me of like Anthony Bourdain or something like that. I love Anthony Bourdain's television shows. That dude, you can't get more left than Anthony Bourdain. That dude was a far left nutter, but he put on a television show that entertained and informed, and you could learn stuff from. And even when he got a little political in there, it didn't bother me, because a lot of what he was saying made sense. But I don't know if I want to give John Leguizamo the time I would give an Anthony Bourdain show. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? So
well, absolutely,
I don't know.
Vader. Absolutely, Vader. A lot of people, including my better half, Romy, who worked in the business. It worked in the restaurant business with Bourdain. We talked about that.
Yeah.
And it's like Bourdain ascended everybody.
Yeah.
Like everyone was elevated in his storytelling. It's elevated storytelling in a simple thing where this man is by himself eating, some random plate of food in Singapore or whatever it is, and you're just like, so many people, different backgrounds, were just ascended with that story. This is not the case. There's moments there. There's moments there, but because he can't help himself, and the producers can't. They'll take those hard lefts while you're like enjoying like a great story from Michael Pena about Michael Pena growing up in Chicago. I love that segment. And then I really did. Then they just take this hard left. I'm like,
yeah, it's too bad, because it's probably a good show except for the political stuff. But I don't know.
There's one last quote from John Leguizamo that I'd like to get Paulie's take on. It's at the end of this article, and I'm quoting him. He says, "I use the travel show method as a way to smuggle content because I want all of America to have Latin envy and want them to feel like they wish they had been born Latin." What's your take on that quote there, Paulie?
I mean, I think the Latino culture, whether it's whether it's Mexican or Puerto Rican or whatever, I think it's already envied and loved by non-Latinos, by Americans. I mean, that's why salsa is the number one condiment in the U.S. That's why everyone loves tacos. I mean, it's that objective is a little antiquated, John.
I just want to bust in just really quick, because I will admit I do have a little bit of envy there, because here in Vegas there is a very heavy Hispanic community, and there's a very heavy Hawaiian Samoan Islander community, and both of those communities are massive into their family. You can go to any park on any weekend in this town, and there's a festival or a family reunion or something going on that is just filled with people from one of these communities. And you know what? And if you go anywhere close, they don't care who you are. They invite you over. They'll put a plate of tacos or whatever in your hand. It's happened to me many times. And it's just, as somebody who's come from outside of Vegas here, those kind of things make me miss my extended family, because my extended family here in town is very small. It's right here on this thing.
I try to get you to come over and drink with me and watch movies all the time. All the time.
Yeah, but you don't have tacos, Jude.
I'll eat tacos.
So what I'm saying is just the family aspect of these communities is high. Yeah. And I very much appreciate it. So that's all I really have to say. So and yes, I
Mike's in the chat, and it again, it's too bad that it's legs, because there are some eloquent moments in this piece, especially from some of these people where they're talking about being an invisible people, as and I absolutely get it, especially when it comes to Mexican Americans, because we're perceived as such a subservient, docile people for so long, that we don't raise a ruckus, so to speak. So that's it's easy to be perceived as invisible. I thought those were some eloquent moments that were like, wow, and they're talking about this over food.
Mhm.
Great conversation.
I also want to say that the best way to seduce Jude is with tacos.
And margarita.
What?
And margaritas.
Alex
Girls
had a
love-
little Alex
girls
had a little
love
love
tacos.
affair.
Oh man,
What they love is for you to cook for them. When you do that, you're in, and that's what I do with with my lady. I love cooking for her.
Before we move on to the next topic, I actually wanted to give a shout out to my friends Christian and Louis. Those are the guys that I work with. Speaking of that family aspect, like we went out to the lake with them. It was last summer that we went out, but it was like everybody was there. There was food, there was barbecue, there were people had 4x4s and quads and jet skis, and it was like everybody was just a huge community. You show up, you have a great time, you bring your family. It was amazing. I do envy that culture. I think more people need to be like that, and I love the Latino culture, and I think it's great. I wish this show was more. I don't know how I'm going to say this, but I just wish that had more of a community around it. Like, hey, let's come and just enjoy the fact that we're a culture and we're a little bit different than you, but we love you guys anyway. Like, I wish it didn't have that kind of divisive slant to it.
Well, how did you feel about when you read that line from Legs?
I think it could be seen two different ways. Coming from him, I think it has a divisive slant to it, but if it was like a buddy of mine saying it, I'd be like, hell yeah, I freaking envy you guys. Your culture is awesome. So, it really does. I think it depends on who's saying those words and what their actual meaning is behind it. The fact that he said he was smuggling content, though, too, that was a little weird.
I mean, I don't think that you can control how people hear something that you say. How often have each and every one of us said something that we were like, oh, this is going to be hilarious, and it gets taken a different way than you intended it to. You can't control that.
Yeah. And it's in written form too, so who knows?
Right.
I didn't hear him say those words, so who knows how he said it, but I don't know. Coming from him, I have a suspicion. All right, the next topic on our list today is the Oscar diversity guidelines that have recently come out. I'm going to read a quote from Richard Dreyfuss, who many of you know from the classic movie Jaws. It's a pretty strong comment that he said. Richard Dreyfuss, the Academy and Golden Globe award-winning, blasted new diversity rules that the Oscars have handed down on movies to be able to be considered for Best Picture awards, saying the new requirements, quote, make me vomit. His direct quote is, they make me vomit, Dreyfuss said on PBS's Firing Line. This is an art form. It's also a form of commerce, and it makes money, but it's an art. No one should be telling me as an artist that I have to give in to the latest, most current idea of what morality is. I haven't really been paying super close attention to Academy Awards, Golden Globe Award winning stuff, because I most of the time I feel like these award ceremonies are overbloated and nonsense, and they don't necessarily represent what the audience actually thinks is the best movie of the year. So I've kind of separated myself from these award ceremonies. But they continue to be a source of Hollywood to kind of like use their influence. So I'm curious, Paulie, this was something that you wanted to bring up. So take it away, sir. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
Yeah, well, I think, was it Kadish? Who was on Midnight's Edge yesterday?
Yeah.
Right. How I was driving. How was the rest of that conversation for you guys?
Well, the people on the panel had very strong opinions about this, especially Chris Gore. But basically, when you have an awards show who basically excludes a whole bunch of movies because they don't meet the guidelines, artistic guidelines, it's like, is the award show even relevant anymore, right? Like, it's not relevant to the public, it's relevant to the industry. But if you can dismiss truly good movies that are deserving of awards because they don't meet your diversity and inclusion guidelines, how professional, how credible of an award are you, right? And so a lot of people basically looked at this as a way for the Oscars to further slide into irrelevance. And Chris Gore was very adamant that, like, the first time that there's a brilliant, wonderful movie that is deserving of an Oscar and doesn't get it simply because either in front of or behind the camera, or even the financing arm wasn't diverse enough, people are going to notice, and it's going to be bad for the Oscars. So I personally think that, I agree with Richard Dreyfuss. You shouldn't be placing these types of restrictions on art if you actually want to get good art. Like, you just have to let it happen organically. So, but there are a lot of people in Hollywood who think that you have to force this stuff, and it's basically like get rid of all the white people making these movies. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get an award.
Well, I'm sorry to break in here, but I'm looking at an article right here that I just pulled up, and my question was, what award-winning movies have won awards that would not be able to even be nominated now? And the list is insane. It's insane. These are winners. The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, would not be able to be nominated right now. The Departed, The King's Speech, Argo. I'm going to go down the list here. A Beautiful Mind, American Beauty, Shakespeare in Love, Titanic would not win an award now. Braveheart would not be eligible for an award now. Schindler's List would not be able to win an award now. That's
a heavy one.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to make these awards so pointless and so useless, and to the point where literally nobody gives a shit about the Oscars going forward, well, they've done it. I didn't care before. We've never, as a group, sat down at our table and had an Oscar special. Or who do you think should win the Oscars? Because we don't care. And just, I mean, my God, guys, it's ridiculous what they've done to this industry. Chariots of Fire, nope. Kramer versus Kramer, Annie Hall, The Godfather Part 2, nope. No Godfather gets an award. The Godfather Part 1, nope. Patton, 1971's Patton, nope, can't do it. And the list goes on. Sorry, guys. Sorry, I'm white. Can't help it. I'm a honky. I'm a cracker. Whatever. It's the dumbest shit ever. So
I feel like this is the equivalent of like when you work at a really shitty place and they know it, but they won't improve anything, but they give you a pizza party. Like, the entertainment industry is a really shitty place to work.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, now we're going to make these rules that is going to include everyone. And it's like the pizza party. You're not really fixing anything.
Yeah. Real quick, I just want to, I know Jude has to leave in just a few minutes, but I want to read the actual guidelines, or just what this article says the guidelines are. The new guidelines include requirements like at least one actor from an unrepresented racial or ethnic group being a significant role. I'm curious what significant role actually means. Or the story must center on a woman.
Probably a co-starring or lead actor.
Yeah, LGBTQ or racial group or this is disabled people. So these are so weirdly vague, but also cripplingly difficult for a lot of movies to create this type of content
also,
that meets
Alex,
all these guidelines.
The financiers of the movies have to have significant diversity in their companies in order for the movie to be so. Like, you could have all the diversity on behind the camera, in front of the camera you want, but if the people paying for the movie aren't significantly diverse, you can't be nominated for an Oscar.
So the Oscars, I mean, I don't already care about the Oscars, but
I think no one has cared about the Oscars for a long time. And the Oscars are like, okay, but what if we did this?
Yeah. Is this like the nail in the coffin for him, though? Yeah. Yeah. Jude, I feel that analogy that you're using right now, because that's literally what the company I work for does all the time.
I mean, I've worked for companies.
Yeah.
I've been to pizza parties.
Sucks. Like, we're not going to give you a raise this year, but here's some pizza.
Yeah. We're all going to go play mini golf together.
So I should just cancel all the corporate pizza parties I had planned for the studio.
Yeah, don't ever do that to us. Don't ever do that to us. I'll take a check for $30.
If I get a watch in 20 years when I retire, I'm going to be really pissed off. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
But
We're gonna get you a
it's just-
stripper in 20 years when you
Oh,
retire.
that way
Yeah.
I would appreciate that. That would be
There you
Russian
go.
hooker.
There you go,
even
Russian
better.
hooker. This just so weird to me that these people, they create these requirements to make these movies like this, and I feel like this is continuing this downward spiral of movies that just are not going to be that good. They're going to be checking boxes over writing good stories, and I feel like these studios are going to start using AI just to check, just be like, write me a story that includes all of these types of people and list all the people that, and then the AI chat's just going to spit out a freaking ridiculous screenplay that
And
includes
this
all
is
these
how
people
we
in it.
gave all of the power to the robots.
That's going to be it. I'm going to give Jude an out. She has to go pick up her son from school. So, Jude, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Any final thoughts or any final parting words that you want to give to the chat? Go right ahead.
Listen, I love pizza, but pizza has never solved a workplace environment problem. That's all I'm saying.
True
also,
enough.
tacos and margaritas.
Jude,
We have to do a stream where we're not talking about politics.
Yes, for
Let's have
sure.
some,
I'm very
let's have
hungry.
some fun.
I think I'm
Go
really
eat.
hungry. Pizza, tacos. I'm here for it.
Jude,
guys.
don't forget to delete those pictures I sent you off your phone.
Those are on Katie's phone, buddy. You sent them
Okay,
to the wrong phone.
It's very important.
Whoa.
All right.
Stay salty.
Katie's just gonna start a Vader OnlyFans pretty soon. He's gonna have enough dirt on this guy. I don't, dude. This is so. I want to kind of come at this at both angles. I want to play devil's advocate for a minute. This all stems kind of from the hashtag Oscars So White social media movement. According to this this article that started in 2015. Criticism stemmed, I'm just going to read a paragraph from this. Criticism stemmed from the fact that for the 2015 installment of the awards show, all 20 actors nominated for top awards were white. It was also the second year in a row that no actors of color were nominated. So there is this there's this stereotype of the Oscar award ceremony people who actually make the decisions on who wins, that the panel is just a bunch of old white dudes, old boomers that have no real tie to like modern society. They're all stuck in the past, yada, yada, yada. That's the stereotype. And there's movies out there that are made all over the place by a huge diverse cast. And I know I'm a big fan of who's the director who makes those kind of like God, what's his name? Key and Peele, right? Is that the comedy duo? Those two guys. Jordan Peele. Thank you, Jordan Peele. I like most of his movies. A lot of his horror movies are fantastic, and I really like. What was it? The Us. That one was Us, and then there was like another one that came before that. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the titles.
Nope.
Nope, I didn't like that one. Was kind of crappy, but it had like a good first half, but then the second half kind of sucked. But I'm curious, like, how much validity does this criticism have about the Oscars, like just being kind of whitewashed? Kadish, I'd like to get your thoughts on that, and then we'll go to Paulie after.
Oh, I mean, you know, it's a situation where, like, you know, most minority films, it's like there aren't a lot of them made, right? And so it's a numbers game type thing. It's like, yeah, a lot of white people got nominated, but it's because the majority of people that were in the movies that year were white. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Richard Dreyfuss said it perfectly, where basically like he's old enough and his career's over enough where he doesn't give a hell, you know, like a good goddamn. And he can basically just say what everyone's thinking, which is that if you try to put these types of constraints on art, you don't really have art anymore, right? You have like a manufactured thing that's completely astroturf. And so none of the movies going forward that win Oscars are actually going to be deserving of those Oscars because they're the best of a certain group that doesn't include everything else, right? The Oscars were supposed to be a celebration of excellence in filmmaking, but now it's excellence in filmmaking within a certain guideline. And Spielberg actually came out right before Richard Dreyfuss said this and said that he regrets, you know, changing E.T. because he believes now that you shouldn't be looking at movies through the lens of through a modern lens. You should just allow art to be art for art's sake. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of the old school Hollywood people believe in that. They don't think that art should be changed to match modern standards. They believe that art should be free, a free form of expression, and through that we get beauty and we get masterpieces. And with these types of guidelines, it's another version of Hollywood just trying to stomp that out for the sake of false diversity. I mean, this whole idea that, like, we talked about Brendan Fraser in The Whale, where people are like, oh, he's not actually an obese person, so he shouldn't be allowed to play an obese person. And it's like, well, that's acting, though. And Brendan Fraser's performance in that movie was amazing. It was absolutely incredible. I challenge anyone to find an actual obese actor who could do as good of a job as Brendan Fraser did in that movie. And so I just feel like this whole idea that art has to be real and has to meet certain guidelines in order to be considered award worthy is just backwards. I don't think that it's good for anyone, really.
Okay. Paulie, how about you? Do you think there's anything that can be done to elevate minority filmmakers to get more recognition from these award ceremonies? Do you think this is the way to go about it? Or do you think Richard Dreyfuss is correct in his quote?
Man, I got the landscapers in my backyard, so they're going to be pretty loud. So sorry about that. There's so many great angles to this whole problem. I for sure agree that this is not the right way to solve the problems as far as perceived problems of Hollywood and its racism towards people who are minorities and their representation on film, in front of the camera, behind the camera. I don't know what the Academy. Well, the Academy has no power, first of all, guys, to greenlight a movie. That's not their job. I mean, if anything, these were, if you're really trying to make an argument, you should be talking to the studios. They have their diversity programs, and a lot of the times it's just and to look good and to say you did, to to check off the box. Now it goes back way further than Oscar So White. Just go and I am talking just as a lover of film and the US Latino experience on film is that we're talking since the beginning of film. There has been a certain stereotype of Latino on film since the beginning, and when those rare moments of great performers, whatever, that kind of break through those stereotypes and do some real positive or just like really something different. Like you can even say in the last 30 years, Johnny Legs has had a wonderful career with that, which again is another weird thing for him whenever he goes off on Hollywood. Hollywood and all the studios on a whole just don't greenlight Latino movies. That's just what it is, for better for worse. They don't owe us anything as far as hey, we're the Latino moviegoer. Here's my money. I want to see myself on film. That's not how the way it works. It's if it's a hit or if it's you got the right connect, you get that movie greenlit. If you get the right name, if you get the right actor, right star, which is why you've seen many Latino actors or themes or stories that have in the past been portrayed by non-Latino actors. So this has gone for many generations of film, right? From Fairbanks playing Zorro to Brando playing Zapata to Pacino playing different Latinos in his films, all the way up until now. Ben Affleck in Argo playing a Mexican American. Jennifer Connelly playing a Latina in Beautiful Mind. Those were real people. Those are real people. Those were like, historical people. They exist. Mm-hmm. But hey, one part of it says it's Ben Affleck. He wants to do your movie. What are you going to say? Oh no, you're not Latino. I ain't going to do it. Of course you're going to say yes to Ben Affleck. Of course you're going to say yes to Al Pacino. That gets the movie done. So there's like good and bad. It's gone a lot better in that happens very less, because now there is a real stable of world-class actors and actresses, from your Oscar Isaacs to your Leguizamo to the females as well coming on up, that they can be part of these films that are big hits. I know that what the Oscars and the Academy is doing, I know that what they're doing with these requirements is killing themselves with these so-called good intentions. This is absolutely ridiculous, absolutely ludicrous. If anything, first of all, none of these studios and most of the films that are released, they're not in contention for Oscars. They could care less about the awards.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So, it's again, when we talk about that invisibility, man, you guys think of making shit up, because seldom when people talk about diversity and inclusion, they mean Latinos. It usually means Black people and LGBT. As far as Hollywood,
what's the new term in Hollywood? BIPOC or something like that? Is that what they're all using? Black, Indigenous, peoples of color. You gotta have so many BIPOCs.
Is that a new thing? I haven't heard that.
You guys haven't heard that? Come on, I know.
Well,
you guys
even
have heard
people
that.
of color to me is antiquated, right?
Well, Paulie, I wanted to ask you. So, you mentioned that to the big studios, this isn't a big deal. But one of the things that the Oscar has always kind of excelled at is taking independents and little-known filmmakers and kind of putting them onto center stage and putting the spotlight on them. And what these regulations seem to do is really hurt the small indie creators that could benefit from an Oscar nomination or an Oscar win, as opposed to the big studios. So you have a lot of kind of down and dirty indie filmmakers out there who might be people of color, or belonging to a minority, and because maybe they don't meet all the guidelines, all of a sudden they're not eligible for an award, even though they made a fantastic movie.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. So maybe like a Tarantino, when he first started out, or I think people like Chloe Zhao or homeboy who did Parasite, Rodriguez, they get in. I don't know, but here's the other part of it, guys, is who would like to get in because of this. It's like, hey, you got nominated. It's like, yeah, but we had to cut out Cate Blanchett. We had to cut out that person. You know what I mean? It's like wow.
I mean, I get that, because there's something. I mean, and I cannot say I could ever feel this way, but can somebody get a job and feel good about knowing that the only reason they got a job is because they're a diversity hire? I like I said, I cannot relate to that. But I know there's people out there that feel that way. And it's got to be kind of denigrating and humiliating, right? I mean, I don't know. It's like I said, I'm not a person that can relate to that, but I know it happens.
Yeah. So. And listen, I'm just being honest with you guys, right? And you can take it for what it is, but Hollywood is, newsflash, is still a very racist place.
Sure.
And they just don't get it. And when they do, when they do try to do something that's of a Latino bent, they just fuck it up. It's just horrible, because they didn't bring in a Latino writer or director. You can tell. I could tell. It's like that ear, Case in point, Namor. Case in point, National Treasure was a complete wreck. You had them running for a fence. Thank you, Disney. I get to see another Mexican running for a fucking fence. I mean, 2023. Thank you, guys. So when was the last time you guys saw an elevated story, entertainment, all Latino cast, Latino director? I can guarantee you you haven't seen one since the 90s. I'm asking you guys.
Yeah, that's a great segue. And you also mentioned something earlier about Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. I was actually thinking along those same lines. There's a quote, an interview with Quentin Tarantino. and I'm paraphrasing here because I can't remember exactly what he said, but he's basically like, go make a good movie, be undeniable to these people, like make something so good that when you put it out there, doesn't matter what your budget is, doesn't matter what you have, who you have in it, it's a freaking good story, and it gets press, and it gets an audience to attach to it. And immediately the first movie that I thought about was Robert Rodriguez's El Mariachi. I freaking love that movie, and he made it for $7,000 with like no budget, no actors in it, no nothing, but he made an awesome freaking movie, and that elevated him to then work with Antonio Banderas on Desperado, and then he worked with Johnny Depp on Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Like, do whatever you can. If you're a minority and you want to make a movie, make a damn good movie, and you will be undeniable. Go ahead, V. What's up?
I have a comment. I want to go over to the chat in Rumble really quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Where we're only 10 away from 100 followers over there. So if you haven't followed us on Rumble, go hit that follow button there. But Salt Dog, the very first comment in the thing over there, it's a guy named Salt Dog Zero, says, "Who cares about the Oscars or even Hollywood? You guys are the entertainment industry now." And you know what? I kind of like that. And we now know that we can crowdfund things if we really want to. And
we just got to get a lot of stuff stolen first.
So, I just want to say, I think we should start a crowdfund for Viking Cop, and we need to like get this thing going. So, there it is. I get it.
A little bit of Nordic flavor.
Little Nordic flavor, cop action. Yeah. So,
like we chase down burglars.
Vegas, dude, we have our first episode with the Burgley. Yes, that's perfect.
So,
Burgley, I'm so drunk right now. I'm sorry, guys. I can't talk.
Thank you, Salt Dog, for that comment over there on Rumble. And he's right.
We can have Paulie. We can have Paulie play the overburdened police chief.
Yeah,
to deal with Viking Cops antics.
That's perfect.
Yeah,
he's already got the hat. Yeah, he's like, turn in your battle axe and your badge.
I'll do my best, Lieutenant Castillo from
That'd be awesome.
Miami Vice.
So you want me to go over?
Station.
You want me to go do what? Okay, hold on. Let me go sharpen my axe first. Okay, it's okay.
Vader, I want you to stay here at the station.
I don't know about that. Yeah, I don't know. But he's right. Make our own entertainment. Screw the Oscars. We don't need them.
Yeah.
Well, it is kind of funny. Go ahead, Paulie.
No, listen. Everyone's. You're the consumer, right? And that's exactly, you're going to go where you want to be entertained, whatever your preferences are, and that's where you're going to put your hard-earned dollars. I absolutely get it. I absolutely support it. That's why when I go and review movies, in my review, especially if they're out of the theater, hey, I saw this movie. This is what I paid for it, and now I get to rip it apart, or I can love it because, listen, I love the thumbnail in this thing. Oscars, was that Oscars hate white?
No, Oscars no white.
Wait, hold on.
Oh my God.
No, so white. Oscars so white.
No, that's the original hashtag.
Our
thumbnail says hashtag Oscars no white.
Oh my God. Kate, did you put that in the thumbnail?
Yeah.
No. Listen. I had a great laugh with it. The truth is, guys, anyone watching this, in the thumbnail, in the chat, the majority of entertainment, for a long time is still going to be majority Caucasian. Like no one's losing major jobs here. This is silly town. I'm agreeing with you guys, but we can go after project where if there's a Latino on camera, it's very seldom there's non-Latinos doing any of the writing for the stories. Case in point, the Fernando Valenzuela biopic television series just got announced. No Latino writers.
See, but that's silly. Doesn't make any sense.
Of course it's silly. That's Hollywood. That's fucking Hollywood, right? And we're used to it, right? It's like, yeah, okay, yeah. But the thing is that there are very overqualified, very wonderful, talented writers who happen to be Latino that are, standing up and saying this is bullshit. And it's like they have a point as well, and all points need to be taken in. And I will say this whole thing of like the white man bad and all this, that's silly. That's just as silly, if not silly. It's like you're just kind of like regurgitating racism as well. It's just it serves no point, especially if again the majority of your consumers are also Caucasian. Why the fuck would you want to alienate that crowd?
Yeah.
That's when I said, well, if you're doing a all Latino project, right? I'm gonna, you know what? I got one for you. La Bamba, the movie La Bamba. Everyone loved it.
Loves movie. Great movie.
Great American story, music, soundtrack, all that stuff. Because it elevated from just being a Latino story. You know, it's like, again, when's the last time we got something from a studio like that? And I would say, I'd push back. Mariachi doesn't count. That shit was already done. Columbia had nothing to lose because they bought it off a homeboy. That shit was done. And Rodriguez continues to work out of the box. Good for him. Out of the studio system. Good for him. Except for Boba Fett. Bad for us. And hopefully he'll make a comeback. But do you see my point, guys?
Yeah.
Is that it's like there, you know, Hollywood is so afraid to give over creative control, especially when the Latinos embrace the X and they embrace their hard left agenda. They'll feel a little more comfortable, but not anyone, you know, as hard edged. Now they would never greenlight anything from Robert Rodriguez from the 90s. No way. It's too it's way too toxic. It's way too masculine.
Maybe we can get Robert Rodriguez to direct our next crowdfunding venture, which is Viking Cop.
Viking Cop. Justice gets Scandinavian.
I can't wait.
Half Viking, half cop.
All cop.
Dude, so can we tell people that this was AI generated, Caters? This is amazing. This is freaking incredible. Like, when this was months ago that we were goofing around with this, and Caters like had some kind of AI thing. And he's like, guys, check out some of the AI shit that I made. And he sent these over to us. And immediately I got like 90s VHS taped shitty movie. I love it. I want to make it. I want to star in it. I want to be in it. This is such a cool cover for this video.
Well, clearly I am the star. Okay?
Yes, you are the star.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
It's just
there he is.
And
you got to get the aviators, bro.
I want to pitch it to Lynn Kabazinski and maybe get him to write and direct it.
Yes,
that'd be fantastic.
Let's do it. I would have so much fun. It'd be amazing. I'll be behind the camera. I don't care. But Vader, you're definitely starring in that Viking Cop.
It's a great poster.
We'll get Corey Conradi to come out here from Norway.
Yeah.
Paulie, what do you think about with the writer strike happening, more and more people kind of turning to YouTube for their entertainment? Do you think this is a opportunity for YouTubers to really kind of break through?
Absolutely. Yeah, especially if you're smart about if you're going to, you know, kind of establish, if you're already kind of established, you want to do something new, maybe add a little production value, a little writing behind a segment or something. If you can get like if you can create some written segments, written videos, people are going to turn their heads. The longer this strike goes on too, that's not going to be good, you know, because people have already done a mass exodus to this entertainment. That's another thing. They've come to YouTube. So, you know, yeah.
I mean, I think
I'm gonna let you read this one there, but Paulie, take it away.
Mexican Ironman for $5. Thank you so much. He's a member of the channel. Paulie's wrong. Hollywood does care about Latinos. I mean, look at Wakanda Forever, and we got our very own super spick wet hero. Hey, I've said this many times, guys. I've said this many times, and this is a great. That is probably one of the greatest examples right now of just how Hollywood thinks of us. Right?
Yeah.
This is written by an African American.
Yep.
Okay. This Namor person, Namor name, the biggest threat to the Wakandans was, how do we dry the back of this Mexican?
Yep.
We are going to create a super dryer, a blow dryer in our spaceship, and we're going to get this Mexican, indigenous, if you're really getting upset, he's not Mexican, he's not Latino, he's indigenous, whatever, into our super blow dryer, Conair, whatever, dryer, and dry the wet back off of him. big close-up shots of his back. You can see the water's dripping and everything, and then it's dry now. And you know what? Because it's dry, he cannot perform. He's emasculated. He's cocked. He's done. That's Latino representation.
Yeah.
And I must say, Paulie, Mike's rant about that movie on your channel was one of the most epic things I think I've ever seen in my life. Like coming right out of the theater, Mike's just firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, that was great.
That was great. Very
and that's just it. And people are so in love with skin color. It's like, oh, we got this dark Mexican actor finally. We're this, we're that. It's like, okay, now what? I mean, I love Tenoch as an actor in some other films. The name or representation was the least of my problems. It was like number 4 or 5 in my problems with that second film. But that's the other problem, is once you're represented, you have to present. And I say this on my channel a lot. So, please, if you haven't checked out my channel, check it out. You're not always going to agree with me, but you'll always get my honesty.
That's all we want. That's all we want.
So let's move on from some of the political
and
stuff.
Cool hats.
Talk about a sequel for one of our most favorite Nicolas Cage movies, Lord of War. This was just announced.
I love this movie.
Yeah, so like we've reviewed this on the podcast in the past, but it just came out that Nicolas Cage, who's going through a bit of a career renaissance rebound, is going to be returning as the character from Lord of War, and his son is going to be played by Bill Skarsgård, and it's going to be about his son wanting to kind of follow his dad in the family business, and the dad being like, no, I don't want you to be an international arms dealer. And it's being written and directed by Andrew Niccol, who wrote and directed the original movie as well. Awesome. What do you guys think of this?
I'm all for it. I love Nicolas Cage. Lord of War is one of my favorite movies. It's one of my favorite Nicolas Cage movies. I think it was fantastic. I rewatch it probably at least once a year. If they make this as good as the first one, I am all in. I cannot wait. And that other actor, the Skarsgård guy, he's been in a lot of stuff. I did not like him in John Wick 4, but he's still a fantastic actor, and I would love to see him pull something off like this Lord of War sequel. I think it would be great. I'm all for it. I can't wait to see the trailer. I can't wait to find out when it's going to be released. I'm, as of right now, full support. I want to watch it in theaters.
Real quick, just want to give a shout out to Nadia from Inside All Day Podcast. She donated to our GoFundMe. Really appreciate it. She also shared it around. Paulie, did you see the original Lord of War?
I have to say I haven't. I'm kind of ashamed.
Oh,
I'm honest.
Dude, you gotta check that out. It's amazing. Come over to this. Come over and watch it with us. Watch it with me. Come watch it on my list.
Skarsgård was the guy who played the big bad in Wick 4, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. He was also Pennywise in the Pennywise.
Yeah, he's a pretty good actor.
Yeah, he's good.
Someday maybe he'll be in a good movie. So,
is he related to the other Skarsgård?
Yes.
What was his name?
They're all related.
They're all of the Skarsgårds.
Yeah. I mean, how common is that name? It's not.
I don't know. But it's like the dude that he was like the scientist in the Thor movies. He's been in a ton of movies. Oh, he's in Andor too as well. That's his dad?
Yeah. He's also in Dune. Stellan Skarsgård,
like an uncle, or the dad,
something like that. And then the guy who played in The Northman, which is also another. I love that movie. I know some people like it, some people didn't, but I had a lot of fun with The Northman.
Great movie.
That actor as well. Yeah,
I liked him in True Blood. That was the best Skarsgård stuff out there. True Blood.
Bill, I don't know, man. I'm a big John Wick 4 fan.
Are you really?
Get him out of here.
Oh man,
you're done.
You're out, Paulie. You're out.
See, that's like
I can tell I'm talking to a bunch of
like
non-martial artists on this panel. So whatever you guys.
It's not the martial arts. It's just the story. It got stupid.
Story is in the martial arts. Story is in the martial arts, guys.
Okay.
What took me out of it was the bad guys that were stumbling in the background, waiting to get up and take their turn at Keanu Reeves. That's what got me out. I was
Every
like, come
kung
on.
fu film. That's an
Not
every.
every. No, not if they're good.
Yes,
Not
it
if they're
is.
good.
Hey
dude.
guys,
No.
I'm bulletproof. I'm bulletproof.
Put your
Bunch of haters.
look at this. Yeah,
Salty
Tim-
nerderators.
Tim's on your side. John
Listen,
was dope.
We have our
Tim knows.
supporters out there. We have our supporters out there.
It's a controversial take, I'll admit, and that's
That's
okay.
all
If you
right.
liked it, man, I know like people liked it. That's totally fine. I'm not saying you
Yeah.
can't like it. Like it all you want.
What's-
For me, it jumped the shark a bit for me.
There's another Skarsgård in Infinity Pool?
It seems like they're everywhere. Skarsgård's everywhere.
Maybe.
They're like the Baldwins.
Oh, Alexander. So
Maybe there's a Skarsgård in that
Northman.
new Meg movie coming out. That Meg 2.
yeah.
That looks dope as hell.
Dude,
by
that
the way.
trailer
Yeah.
looks amazing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing you didn't bring that up when Jude was on the screen.
Oh
She
man,
would've- her head would have exploded.
it
No,
looks
we're-
so fun.
We're gonna make her watch it. We're gonna talk about it one week.
Oh no.
Yeah.
She'll quit the show first.
We'll make
We
a
do it
The
Tom
Northman
Can we do a
Skarsgård.
two-parter?
The
Go ahead,
Northman
Paulie.
Skarsgård is in Infinity Pool with Maya Goth.
Yeah, he was also in
It's a
True
new-
Blood and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those guys are so talented, man.
Yeah,
They
the whole
are.
family. So yeah, I'm all for it. Lord of War is one of my favorite movies ever. It's probably in my top 10 easily. Vader, what are your thoughts on that movie being made with the Skarsgård as the child being raised?
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I didn't even know this was happening until about 5 minutes ago, when you started talking about it, because I didn't really look at what we were talking about today, because I like to be completely and totally unprepared when we do live streams, as Matt is well aware. So cool. Lord of War is a great movie.
Well, it's
I
funny
always
'cause-
get a little bit nervous about sequels, 10, 15. How long has that movie been out? There's a long time after
It's
early
old. It's like
2000s.
15 years.
to finally
Yeah.
be making a sequel about it, but maybe the story is set properly after that last movie. So yeah, great movie. I'll be curious to see what they can do with it. It'll give me a reason to go watch Lord of War again, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Lord of War came out in 2005, and
Yeah.
I think the reason why it's taken so long, not the reason why they're going to use in the movie why it's taken so long to make a sequel, is because this is his child who's now grown.
Mhm.
So it makes sense that it's been
Don't follow in
20
Daddy's
years.
footsteps. It's a
Yeah.
bad news.
What's interesting is that on Friday we dropped our Nicolas Cage episode where we talked
Mhm.
about Nicolas Cage's career, and this is just yet another movie of his rebound, of his comeback.
Yeah,
He's been making some really, really cool movies lately.
for sure. Yeah,
I
I've
think-
loved it. So Vader, actually, you told me a fun story about Nicolas Cage not doing podcasts. Can you?
Oh
tell that
yeah,
story a little
one
bit?
of our ongoing jokes here is to get him on the podcast. It's one of Katie's lifelong goals, and because he lives here in Vegas, and
Ooh.
it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen because
Never say never.
no, it's never going to happen because he won't even do his friend's podcast. If you, I was listening to Rogan this week, and he had Paulie Shore up, and Paulie Shore
Mhm.
is his next door neighbor when he's here in Vegas, as he has a house right next to Nicolas Cage's. And of course, Paulie has his own podcast and all this kind of stuff. And if you listen to the Rogan show, when Paulie tells a story, the first thing that Nicolas Cage said to Paulie when he came over was that he said, "No, I'm not going to be on your effing podcast. Don't ask me to be on your podcast because I don't do podcasts. I don't do them." So I can't think of any other show that Nicolas Cage has ever been on, and he's a private guy. Like, you got to
Paulie Shore, though. Nobody wants to do Paulie Shore's podcast.
Oh
No,
no!
shut up, man! I'd love to have Paulie Shore.
Always up.
No, he doesn't do that shit anymore. He's actually kind of fun. I like Paulie Shore.
I'd have Paulie Shore on our podcast if he wants to
Hell
come
yeah.
out here. Do
In
a
a
little
second.
cross promotion.
absolutely.
Half a second. Yeah, absolutely.
But
But,
so
yeah,
I
I
don't
thought-
think we're ever going to get Nicolas Cage on the show, but maybe. I guess if you be persistent, maybe he'll.
It'll be like
I'd
a
say-
Boatfield situation where we just act like we're
Yeah.
interviewing him and then catch him on the street and edit him into the podcast.
Vader, I was gonna say something, but I like you.
Thanks, man. I like you too, Paulie.
This comment here from Tommy Gunner M1 is actually something that I was going to bring up. Wasn't Lord of War supposed to be loosely based on some infamous Russian weapons dealer?
Yeah.
Yes, and also it happens to be the Russian dealer that we traded with Russia for. The Merchant of Death was based off. I'm sorry, Nicolas Cage's character is based off of the Merchant of Death, the Russian arms dealer who we traded for the basketball player. Was it like 2 years ago, a year ago or so?
Like 6 months ago.
Was it that soon? I can't remember how long ago that was.
Just a few months ago.
It's based off of the Merchant of Death, who we gave back to Russia. So now they're making a sequel, and it just so happens to be this guy got sent back to Russia to go back to business. Like, that's wild, dude.
That's crazy.
I hope they somehow weave that into, like, what if Nicolas Cage's character was in jail from American forces and he got traded for some basketball player in the second movie?
Alex, you forgot that the Merchant of Death was one of like 3 international terrorists that we traded for that WNBA player.
Did we do more than one?
I thought it was just the one guy.
Oh, what a terrible deal. My God.
I'm getting political again. Shoot.
I know. Sorry, I can't help it.
Stop.
We left the Marine. The Marine is still over there for Christ's sake.
Bonzo in the chat did say something very important, Vader, and I think you guys need to recognize who the best Paulie is. It's not the Weasel.
This is true.
It's the Slant.
Is true. Absolutely.
Slant, not Weasel. Yeah.
Slant, not Weasel.
So
I actually liked that interview. That was I listened to it.
Did you? It was good. I liked it too.
Yeah.
No, I actually haven't finished
Rogan
it yet. I'm about halfway through. But.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I love Rogan. I love his guests.
I like all the stuff that he talks about Mitzi, about the store and Mitzi and how
his mom.
Yeah. It's really, really interesting stuff to me.
I like Rogan's guests. I was having this conversation with Kadish earlier. Like, Rogan's awesome at having amazing guests, and I'll flip through his channel to see who his guests are, and if they have like PhD next to their name, I'll usually click on it. But when it's him just goofing around with his friends, or if it's ever somebody that like if there's ever somebody on his show that I wish he would like really push and like ask really heavy questions, he's such a softball when it comes, like Zuckerberg and Jack Dorsey or whatever. Like, he's such a softball with those guys because he wants to be friends with everybody, which is admirable but frustrating at the same time.
Listen, regardless of what people think of Joe Rogan, the dude is single-handedly changing entertainment as we know it, as far as I'm concerned. He's busting the podcast world open. He's changing the world of comedy right now. He's turning Austin into a literal stand-up comedian comedy mecca. And
he's got it's
wild what he's doing.
He's got his feet in a lot of different worlds. He has right for a long time, and yet he's always just come from being a regular guy who's not too bright. Here's his words, and he just asks questions. From his martial arts background to his comedy. The thing too is that he's not an actor, right? No. He's done some acting, but he's a stand-up comic. I mean, those guys are really twisted, dark, funny ass people.
Yeah,
very unique people. So you have that. Then he's a multiple black belt in different forms. So he knows about discipline. He knows about hard work. I mean, it's I really get where he's coming from on a lot of stuff.
Do your psychedelics, eat meat that you kill and laugh. That's Joe Rogan. So
I want to talk a little bit about the writer's strike and the different shows that are in production that have been interrupted by this. So it's kind of interesting. So the big thing is Marvel and Disney's high-profile Daredevil Born Again revival series now can't have any writers or producers on set. It's in the middle of being filmed, and they're halting it until they can kind of figure out how to go forward. We've got Apple TV Plus's season 2 of Severance is being disrupted by this. Netflix's Stranger Things and Showtime's Billions have been put on hold, and also the latest Game of Thrones prequel, A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, The Hedge Knight, has had to stop pre-production simply because writers aren't allowed to work on it. And George R.R. Martin tweeted out his support of the writer's strike, and people instantly told him that he's been on strike for the past 11 years. So it makes perfect sense that he's in favor of writers not writing. So I want to get your guys' take on this. Do you think that this writer's strike could really hurt Hollywood, especially all these TV shows that are supposed to be coming out this year?
Well, let's go to Paulie first because he's our guest. So go ahead, Paulie.
The ones that are in production, absolutely. That's happening right now. And that if there's more than 2 strikers at any site, then that's like the rule. The other unions won't cross the line. And that's exactly what they're doing. They're being very strategic at where they're picking. So, there's the ones where everyone's like the big crowds and the singing and dancing. Check out the ones where it's just 2 or 3 people. They're hitting different targets where people are shooting. The Maya Rudolph one in Beverly Hills just got shut down. Then there's another one that just got shut down. 2 people did that. Why? Because the other unions who've got their back, they're not going to cross.
Mm-hmm.
Not going to cross. Man, I think it's a brilliant tactic to get them back to the bargaining table, and then maybe to get the Directors Guild behind this, because once you start pissing off the Directors Guild, that's it. So
Yeah, you can't shoot anything.
Can't shoot shit.
There was somebody I was watching. I don't remember what show it was on, but I think it was Chris Gore that said something about the studios might not even really care about this stuff right now. They might be thinking of it as a tactic to actually trim some fat. I think.
The herd, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Listen, I'm not the guy to talk to about the strike. I don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about that part of the industry at all. But I do find it interesting that theory is out there that the studios might be kind of like dragging their feet on purpose to save some money in the long run. I'm not quite sure how that works, but maybe you guys can explain it. So,
well, I know that Chris Gore's point was that the studios are using this as an excuse to get out of first look or overall deals that they've made with showrunners and stuff like that they don't want to work with anymore, and also to kind of cull the herd of bad writers that they haven't been able to get rid of. And so like it's kind of like a weird mafia tactic, where it's like, yeah, go ahead and strike, and we'll just get rid of all the people we don't want, and when we agree to your terms, we'll just bring back the good ones and keep all the others on the sidelines. That's what Chris Gore thinks is happening.
That's an interesting thought. I don't know a lot about this. I don't really have a personal opinion on it because I don't have enough information to have like an intelligent opinion. But I'm really curious. We have a writer's showrunner friend of ours who we're in contact with, and I asked him recently about the strike, and he's like, it's going to go on for a long time because he's like, in his opinion, it's not going to go anywhere for a minute. So you could be onto something. I know the running joke right now is like AI is making better content than these writers are, so why should we pay them? And I'm like, that's a funny joke, but also kind of terrifying at the same time. The funny thing is about the Rings of Power, where basically Amazon's $1 billion second season is now without any writers or showrunners on set, and they still have to move forward with shooting. And people are like, yeah, this will actually probably make the show better. Paulie, do you have any thoughts on this matter as far as like the AI use in Hollywood? Do you think it does better than the actual activist people who might make these shows?
Absolutely not. I think AI is going to be a huge downfall for the business, for writers, for creativity. Better look out. It's not good for art. Especially when it comes to writers, and it's going to screw over a lot of hardworking creative people. There's certain things you can use it for, absolutely, but I do think in the long run it's going to benefit. Back to the strike, it is going to benefit the studios. They're not really sorry writer friends, but they're not really afraid of the Writers Guild right now. So, this has been years in coming of bad movements from the Writers Guild, and check out any conversation, if you can, on different streams, including mine with Cameron Pasha, who really, if you check out his Patreon,
He's
does
great.
a great
Yeah.
back breakdown of the last 30 years, like since the 70s, as far as where the Writers Guild has gone wrong. A lot of it has to do with you just didn't anticipate technology, and
Right.
and it just keeps
Mhm.
jumping forward, and the Writers Guild are like 30 years behind. So that's part of it.
And also, there's so many writers in Hollywood. Like anyone who can put a word on a piece of paper is considered to be a writer. Like you don't have to have like a certificate or like any type of like degree to say like, oh, I'm a writer. It's like my hairdresser's boyfriend's kid is a screenwriter. They just haven't had anything produced. So writers have it tough. And one of the things that they were actually negotiating against was this idea that producers could go to Chat GTP and create a script, right, for a movie. It's like, write me a script for a cop thriller. And they create this like substandard script, and then they hire a screenwriter to come on and rewrite that script instead of hiring them to write the script to begin with.
Yep.
Which is more money. And so like they're getting writers to basically come in and write a whole new script for cheaper because they're calling it a rewrite on a AI generated piece of screenplay. And that's one of the things that the Writers Guild was protesting against.
It's one of the things, but it's like they got themselves to blame as well for not calling this out earlier in the years prior, just as far as screwing over writer over writer because they wouldn't do this. I was like, I'll do the job. That has happened, and to where the detriment was like they just didn't have the loyalty and the commitment, the solidarity, if I can use that term, when it was important, right? And so you just really don't have a lot of power. But there's so many really great points from Cameron and Chris Gore, that they bring up with this strike, what affects, who it affects. But one thing for sure is what is happening is they are doing these strategic, kind of bombings of disrupting production. They want to disrupt production because the production, as you know, Kadish, you stop a day of shooting. How much is that per day?
It's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Kadish, I'd like to get your thoughts on this. There's a comment here from Darth Maul. It says Kurtzman staying put and Terry Metalis will likely be let go. I would like to know what your thoughts are on Brian and Shane's boyfriend, Terry Metalis, and his potential Star Trek Legacy TV show. Like, what's going to happen with that?
Well, a more interesting thing is actually what's happening with the Section 31 miniseries that they announced, because it was set to go into pre-production, right? And they have like a small window with Michelle Yeoh, and this writer's strike's basically thrown like a huge wrench into the works. And I'm not sure, like Terry can't really go out and do anything new while this strike's going on. Like Hollywood's basically just in a holding pattern right now until they can get this stuff figured out. So I personally don't think it's going to affect Terry Metalis and Star Trek Legacy all that much. In fact, a lot of the studios are probably going to be saving a lot of money by not having anything in development. But what you are going to see is you're going to see a lot more podcasts pop up with out of work writers talking to each other. You're going to see a lot more of, in the writer's strike back a couple years ago, I should say a couple decades ago, what happened was you had people like Joss Whedon going out and making stuff like Dr. Horrible's sing-along blog, and he just made it independently. He put it out on iTunes, didn't charge for it, so like he wasn't in violation of the writer's strike. But stuff like that happened, and it launched like Felicia Day, and got Neil Patrick Harris out there more with a cult following. It got Nathan Fillion, a little bit more high profile stuff. So like, I think you're going to see a lot more independent stuff, especially on the YouTube end of things, from actual Hollywood creatives. I think you're going to see a lot more people doing live streams and interviews and YouTube and podcasting and stuff like that, just in the interim, Yeah. But honestly, I don't think this is going to affect Terry Metalis's play for Star Trek all that much. Personally, I could be wrong.
So one of the theories that Cameron was throwing around is that before in the 2008 2009 strike, who broke the strike was really like those top 30 showrunners. They did that backroom deal. and that it's probably going to happen again. Because the kind of the blue collar writers really don't command that type of power. So it'll be interesting to see, who steps up. I mean, and it is Kurtzman did technically broke the line when he was on set for Star Trek back in 08, 09. They were striking. JJ went back to work, and Kurtzman was there, but not on a writer.
He would do under the table rewrites on set, essentially.
Yeah, he shouldn't have even been on set. That's the thing.
Yeah. Well, technically, he's also a producer on that movie, so like he was there as a producer who happened to do some rewrites.
And so is Andor's writer producer
Tony Gilroy
right now currently. Gilroy, he's not on set. He's as a producer, doing online stuff. So Andor's still going on as far as production.
Go ahead, V. You're muted, buddy.
I have a question from Rumble. Does the strike mean that they don't do any reshoots on Indy 5?
Are they still doing reshoots on that movie? It's supposed to come out next month.
I wouldn't doubt it. I don't know. I don't know.
Gold's in the corner like nerd.
God, I don't want to see that movie.
He's so upset.
It doesn't look good. I've heard like test screenings. People have come out of test screenings of that and basically just said like it's as bad as everyone's expecting it to be.
Oh,
it just looks boring.
That hurts.
Well, they said that it's painful to watch old Harrison Ford because he does seem like an old man. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is annoying in the role that she has.
Of course she is.
They said that the action scenes are boring. It's a slaction film.
Oh, no.
All the spirit of fun of the old Spielberg indie movies is completely gone. It just doesn't sound good.
What I'm hearing is that there remains only 3 Indiana Jones movies. That's what I'm hearing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I don't know why they're calling this one 5 because there's clearly only 3.
Yeah, I mean, where'd the 4th one go? I don't know.
Yeah, the 4th one doesn't exist either. I don't know.
Is it like one of those things where like buildings don't label the 13th floor because it's bad luck? They just like skip over it.
Yeah. Very strange. Very strange.
That's such a bummer though, because I really even though we had our spat with Mangold as the podcast, I still was like, man, I hope he makes a good movie.
It's okay, man. He's making ancient Star Wars movies too.
Great.
25,000 years ago.
And
25, the first Jedi. He's going to give us the first Jedi movie.
Great.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be fantastic.
So
I cannot wait. It's gonna re-spark my love for Star Wars.
He's made some freaking good movies. It's so weird to watch his career. Like, okay, Ford versus Ferrari, awesome. Logan, awesome. He's got good movies, right? This guy's got a really good resume. As soon as he signs on the dotted line with Lucasfilm, shit. It's like
all gone.
What drugs are they taking over there? It's so crazy.
Well, in all fairness, Mangold is still working behind the scenes to destroy us, so we need to be vigilant.
Yeah, he might pop up on this door behind me any minute now. Just ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, what's the latest with you talk about love affair? You guys Mangold. What's going on there?
We broke up a long time ago.
There's no latest. We're waiting for his fancy movie to come out.
He's slowly plotting our demise.
Listen,
first he killed Corky, and now he ransacked our studio.
Yeah.
And I think it's only a matter of time before he farts on Vader's chair.
Yeah. And listen, when this indie movie comes out, and if Kadish does not make a 4-hour long Wade video about Indy, I'm gonna be pissed off. You have to just dismantle him line by line. You have to EFAP this mother effer, man. It's gonna. I
get Mahler back on this.
Yes, absolutely.
Go through it.
Absolutely. It's like, just like I told you was going to happen at the 37-minute mark of this movie. This is you just like this. It's going to be epic. I cannot wait.
Kathleen Kennedy is just systematically
movies-
emasculating every man that she's ever worked
Yeah.
with.
Or if the
Yeesh.
movie's actually good, then we can go, hey man, pretty good movie. But we know that's
Hey,
not gonna happen.
yeah. If I like it, I'll tell you I like it.
Guys, apparently there's someone in the chat that said that there's a deep faked review of an Indy 4 movie that stars alternate versions of us
No, it's
used
impossible.
by
Ooh.
completely AI technology,
Doesn't exist.
and somehow it's uploaded to our channel. It's very weird,
Doesn't exist.
very strange.
The alternate universe, the sweet,
Yes,
what
the
would that be? That'd
multiverse.
be like the sweet nerds or something like that. All right. Our last topic for the day, ending on a somewhat comical note. I wanted to bring up the Guardians of the Galaxy and PETA. PETA loves Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I saw this on Twitter and I
Well, they
just kind of
should.
chuckled to myself. And I wanted to pull up this article real quick because it was just kind of, it's just weird. It's a weird thing. PETA calls James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 an animal rights masterpiece. And I've got the quote from the
It literally is. It quite literally is. Yes.
The vice president of PETA, Lisa Lang, said, through Rocket, James Gunn has put a face, a name, and a personality on the millions of vulnerable animals being cycled through laboratories as we speak. Vader, you're the only one that I know that watched Guardians of the Galaxy 3. What do you think about this?
I watched it last night. Are we going to talk about this movie some other time? We are, right?
When we get a chance
Yeah.
to watch it, maybe.
when our studio is back in
okay.
working order.
So I can't get too deep into it, but yeah, it absolutely comes off like a 5.5 hour long PETA commercial. that's accurate. It is accurate. It's all about saving the lives of the little furries at the end of the movie, especially. It's I like animals. I don't really care. I personally don't like torturing anything, especially defenseless little fur babies. But it's a little heavy-handed. It's a little heavy-handed at the way they do this. But at the same time, it's a James Gunn movie, and he just puts a weird spin on it. I don't know really what else to say if we're going to talk about this movie later. I just my 10-second spin, I didn't really like it. I thought it was too long. It does have a couple fun moments, and I'm not going to give it a grade right now. I'll save it for later. But yeah, definitely a good PETA commercial. So that's accurate. Very accurate. It's rocket heavy. So
It's Rocket. Okay, yeah. A lot of the trailers have kind of pointed that Rocket is going to go through quite a bit of trauma in this movie, and I suppose like animal lovers, when they go and see this movie, it's probably going to hit them pretty hard. I know I've heard many people say like, "Oh, you'll cry if you're attached to any of these characters, you're going to cry at some point."
I've been very emotional lately when I go to movies. I did not get emotional at all.
No,
not once, not one single time. No. In fact, I did appreciate the expanded role that Astro the dog has in this movie.
Oh, Astro the dog's back?
Yeah, and
okay.
she has lyrics and everything. She has lines. It's actually quite amusing. I
like this.
Stuff.
$2 from JT. What's up, JT? Said Vader's beard is a fur baby.
Your beard's a fur baby.
We actually have a number of super chats that we haven't.
Oh, we do?
Oh yeah, good.
Let's get to them. What do we got? Where do we leave off?
I'll call him up.
Okay, go ahead. It's me, Luigi. Oh, that's a reference to John Leguizamo playing a Latin Luigi, a Latin Italian. All right. Joker's voice. Chuck, what's up, dude? Just got my wallet. Thank you, Salty Nerd Podcast. Oh yeah, that's in reference to our giveaway for the extra wallet that he got on Saturday. Congratulations on winning that. That's fantastic.
He was our winner of the extra wallet giveaway, and Anthony Mark won the autographed Cyberfrog comic book as well.
Oh, nice.
So we need to get that to him.
Yeah, Anthony's a big supporter of us. That's amazing. $2 from JT. Finally catching you live from Texas. I'm glad you're at home, dude. And also, if you're still watching, thank you so much for your generosity on the GoFundMe. I know you texted me earlier this week that you were going to be helping us out. So thank you. Like, it's beyond belief. The generosity of this community is incredible. I mean, Dennis Wright, dude. Dennis is amazing too. He's also one of our top Patreon members. He's in every single chat that we have out there. So what's up, Dennis? We'll get you something. Don't worry. We'll get you something. Did you get your shirt yet? I shipped that out like a week and a half ago. You should have it by now.
Darth Maul, not true. Vader, you got emotional when they ran out of popcorn. That is not true. I do not get emotional because they ran out of popcorn. I did not have any popcorn. I had a bag of Swedish fish. Thank you very much. That I only ate about a third of. Okay.
I stole some of it when I went to his house earlier today.
That's right.
V, did you want to tell that story about how I had to help you be a man?
No, we'll save it.
We're going to save it?
We'll save it.
I want to ask Paulie about the dailychela.com. Can you tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah, Daily Cella. It's been a site publication for a while. Kind of think of your very pro freedom of speech kind of articles, a lot of base stuff from a kind of like they'll a realistic kind of open Latino point of view on a lot of topics. That page is free, and you'll see some articles that the Slant has done. But then they've launched a streamer app. So some of our exclusive content is on that app, and we're stuff we can't say on here, or I've just edited off of some of my YouTube videos. I can put up there freely, and they're doing really well. Also, too, they're going to be debuting an amazing documentary called American Homeboy, which is like the history of the lowrider and Chicano Cholo culture over the last 100 years in America. Now, that is something that Leguizamo should have interviewed. Should have interviewed the guy who did this film, because these guys are the real deal. These guys are getting, just that alone is getting way more views than anything Leguizamo could ever hope for.
Well, you interview him. You don't need John Leguizamo. You can do it.
Yeah, you could be better than him. Go for it.
We were talking about that. Me, Mike, and Fletcher Williams. We were talking about putting together some some funds, and let's go hit all the cities that Leguizamo missed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them, like Vegas, like Texas, New Mexico. He's not going to any of them.
So, Paulie, does this have a Roku app attached to it? Like, is there something?
Yeah. Just hit hit the link, guys, and then you can look at the Roku apps. It is $6.99 a month, but the site in general is free, which is I want people to get exposed to that and check it out. Some really great, some real journalistic writing on there.
I'm scrolling through the website right now, and I'm like intrigued. Every single one of these titles is like, yeah, I want to click on that. That sounds interesting. This is a great website.
Correct.
Hey, Alex, can you share that?
Yeah, you got it.
Brandon, it's in the chat already.
No, I mean,
so the founder, the founder of this is Brandon Maxwell. You're not gonna believe this, guys. But besides him being the architect of this and American Homeboy documentary that's coming out, his writings on certain political issues are now being used in a Supreme Court case. It's really, really fascinating. So we're talking about like real kind of just sound journalists, really great writers. So you don't need it's in English, guys. You don't need Spanish translators.
It's great. I'm looking forward to checking this out. That's awesome.
And I think that's the other thing, guys, is is that as we get more censored here, it's like you guys got Rumble. Like I had to find something else too, and I'm really pushing the Cella. It seems that a lot of these channels have major backups now.
This is great, dude. There's movie reviews, there's food reviews, there's political stuff. This is incredible, dude. This is awesome. Did you help create this?
No. When I got the Slant going, I had found out about Brandon and the Cella a couple years back, and it's like I would basically use his articles kind of like how some of you guys use Bound into Comics, or like you use a certain site a lot to read it from. I was reading from them a lot. I'm like, God, these guys are so good. Let me invite Brandon on. We started a friendship, and he invited me to be part of the app.
Nice.
Because he likes what the slant was all about.
That's good.
And the cello's where it's at, especially if like when Kadish, when you put up that Remescla story, I was like, oh, I hate those guys. Because there's so much with the Latinx. It's like,
that's cool.
Yeah,
right on.
Just to trigger Paulie again. I just want to.
Oh God.
I want to bring it up. So like, there we go.
That face.
So not this, but
no, the other one. Yeah.
Yes, this is what we want.
Go to this.
Yeah,
bad Latin.
Didn't you have good Latin? Didn't you have a Leguizamo story you trying to throw at me?
Oh, you mean
what was
this
the other one? Says he's playing Italian characters in the past was revenge. Oh God.
I gotta get going.
Yeah, we're gonna polish up the stream. It's been over 2 hours. Paulie, thank you so much for joining us as our guest of honor today. Yes. We're happy to have you. You're welcome in the studio here in Vegas anytime. And if you ever have anything that you want to shout out or promote on our live stream, you're more than welcome to join us on Tuesdays or Saturdays. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, I want to personally thank Paulie for coming on this extremely non-political version of the Saltcast IRL. We love just talking about entertainment, leaving all that other stuff behind us. Paulie, thank you so much for humoring us and coming on today.
Thank you guys. Now listen, hey, you got to be able to talk about it all. What we need to do is let's pick a film, and then you guys can come on the slant and we all just talk about a movie.
Lord of War.
Lord of War?
Oh, yeah. You've never seen it? We have to talk about it for sure.
You know what? Let's do it.
All right. Let's make it happen.
Let's do it.
Right on.
But thank you guys.
No problem. Anytime, man.
That was fun.
Vader, any last words for the amazing chat? Take it away.
Just thank you. Thank you guys all for being out there and chatting and joining and super chatting and becoming members and hitting that GoFundMe up for us. I don't know if we could ever express ourselves enough with enough thank yous for everything that the community has done for us over the last few days. We really appreciate it. We love you guys. And we are here to continue making content. And I can't wait to get back into the studio next week. And I can't wait to have another new computer that I get to install everything again on. And God damn it, dude, I got to do all that stuff again, don't I? Jeez. But yeah, man. Thank you all. Thank you so much, Paulie. Thank you for being here. It was fun talking to you, man. Like always. And that's all I got. That's all I got.
Right. Cool. Kadish, last words for the amazing chat. Take it away.
Just want to thank Paulie and remind everyone to check us out on our Saturday live stream at 10 a.m. Pacific. We're going to be having Razor Fist on as our special guest. Hopefully he actually shows up and remembers. But yeah, right now the plan is Razor Fist on Saturday. And this Friday, we are releasing our talk about horror movies. So that was a really fun episode to record. Obviously, because of the studio break-in, we haven't been able to record any new content. So we apologize to our members. We usually like to put out our Star Trek commentaries and our members-only videos. But unfortunately, we can't do that because all the equipment we used to record got stolen. So, but thank you all who donated not only to this live stream, but also to the GoFundMe. Really appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much.
Right on. All right, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching the show. Really appreciate it. And again, I'm mirroring what my co-hosts have said. The community has been absolutely incredible. We will be back up and running as soon as possible, and we will continue to bring amazing content to you guys. If you're a fan of the show, thank you so much. If you want updates on the ongoing investigation, I am giving those out on Instagram. So go to Instagram at Salty Nerd Podcast. And you can follow us there. And I'm posting videos pretty regularly on our progress with the case. And as we get information from the cops that I can actually share without getting ourselves in trouble, I will absolutely do that. So head over to Instagram and follow us there for more updates on our rebuild. I'll be doing videos and stuff like that just off my phone on us getting our studio back together and having some fun over there. So follow us on Instagram.
Is that a personal page?
A personal what page?
No, it's Salty Nerd Podcast.
Yeah,
Salty Nerd
Podcast.
These photos of just you.
I'm the one who runs the show, so I run the Instagram post.
You're very handsome man. I want to say.
Thank you.
It's
Thank
pretty
you.
good
Look at all
looking
these
guy.
photos. You go, boy.
Sex and
Thank you.
meatloaf.
It's all in the lighting. It's all in the lighting.
Yeah. Hashtag sex and meatloaf. Yeah.
Sex and meatloaf.
Sex and meatloaf.
Sex and meatloaf. Yeah.
All right. On that note, we're going to end the stream. Thank you guys so much for watching. Sex and meatloaf, folks. Stay salty. We'll see you next week. Adios.
Adios.